not forget. All right, we are recording. So what's going to happen today is we are going to go through the steps of what it means to work with our clients when it comes to labs. And these are not necessarily just labs that they've had done before. These are labs that maybe we're going to suggest or recommend. We're going to cover every single avenue I can possibly think of and then some. So if you have questions while we go, please, please, please put them in the Q&A. Historically, I've used the chat and the Q&A for questions, but it's been really hard for me to track and stay on track and focus when I'm getting too many questions tucked into chat where I have to go back and forth. I will be teaching, training, and then visiting the Q&A intermittently, okay? So let me get Dawn, if you can tell me when I get, in just a moment, I need to figure out which one of these I'm going to pull open for you guys first. We're going to do a screen share check as well. And as a reminder, you guys, at the end, when everything is done and you get your replay, you're going to get the replay to this training, but you're getting all of the documents that I'm going to show you today. And then some, I added a bunch of stuff in. So thank you so much for your patience so far about the rescheduling last week. So we had power outages and all kinds of craziness going on. And I'm glad that actually that happened. Everything happens for a reason, because I ended up adding even more training to this particular training process. I'm looking over here because I'm working from a dual monitor. So I will be dragging things over and communicating from both of these screens. So if you guys see me keep looking over, that's what it's about. All right, so I'm Carmen Hunter. I am the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching. I have been health coaching myself for almost 8 years. I've been working with clients in labs for about a little bit over 7 years. Before I came really comfortable, I had to spend some time doing a little bit more work on my own. And so I have actually been studying health and physiology, anatomy, disease, conditions, labs, all of that since I would say 2001 or so is when I really started to deep dive into this stuff. So what I'm teaching you is what I've learned from experience, but also working with clients and trying to navigate how to best help them and support them without diagnosing them, prescribing something, and all of those things. So it was a really tricky area for me to start learning from without any mentoring or any help. But I found out very quickly that it was a powerful tool for my clients, because what was missing sometimes were these gaps in the symptoms and what was going on with them. And the only way to figure that out sometimes was having a black and white document in front of us that said, this is what's happening. And so that was a nice little piece that fit into the puzzle of what we were trying to figure out was going on with them. So many of you are students of mine at the Institute. Many of you are brand new to who I am. I've been mentoring coaches for almost 5 years. Actually, it'll be 5 years this May. So I would say 5 years, and then teaching the content from the Institute for about the same amount of time. It's been growing and building. So I have a great deal of experience mentoring coaches and, figuring out what the pain points are. This particular topic of labs is one of the biggest subjects I've ever seen our response to when it comes to asking what you guys need for support. And I think one of the reasons is because it's so important and it's so necessary to understand them, but it's such a gray area, and it can really cause a lot of distress for coaches who feel like they have to go out and take all of these extensive courses, learn every single lab, how to read them, how to order them, how to interpret them, and then the fear of wondering if you're overstepping what you should be saying or doing arises. And I've seen that over and over again. Multiple students coming into the Institute that have already taken extensive, expensive courses, having this knowledge to interpret and order labs, but then fearful because of where they ended up moving or not knowing how to deliver information. So today, my goal is to give you the skills that you need to incorporate labs into your practice with your clients, and sometimes even in group classes if you choose to do so, in a way that doesn't make you look like you're stepping over the line, okay? Is this making sense to everybody? I want you to tell me a little bit in the chat. You can talk, you guys, if you want. Tell me about whether or not you have been nervous about using labs. What have you done to try to understand why they're important? Give me some feedback on what brought you here today and what you hope to learn. And then again, reminder, Q&A box for all questions, please. I would really appreciate it. That'll keep us focused and on track. I plan to go to about 1 o'clock today. It is recording. You will get the replay. You get to go back. So if you miss something when you scoot off to the bathroom or something like that, no fear, you guys are going to get the recording, okay? So we're going to start real quick with, let me bring this over. I'm going to open up the training documents first. And we're going to start with tips on clients and labs. And when I do a screen share here, I'm going to check in with Dawn and make sure that she can see my screen. Okay, here we go. And let me check the chat again. And if I can get a thumbs up that we're all good, you guys can see my screen. And I'll get started. So just a simple, yep, all good. Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate it. Okay. So, all right. So tips and reminders about clients and labs. You're going to hear ad nauseum throughout this, a lot of what I'm saying in this, you guys. But I have to say this not only for my own disclaimer that everything I'm sharing with you is just purely educational. You guys have to do what feels best for you and your business. My disclaimer is I'm giving you resources and information the same way that you're going to be giving resources and information to your clients. It is up to you what you do with it. Nothing I'm telling you to do is do this with your clients. These are suggestions and education recommendations that have worked for me for years and based on experience of what I have seen to be most effective. So number one is the number one rule. Never tell someone what labs to get. Now this is going to be confusing, but please just remember, I'm covering so much information in this training. I hope to answer the questions that you come up with and this particular part in general as we go. So telling someone what labs to get, and we don't say, oh, your family has thyroid disease, you need A, okay? We're not saying you need to get A, you need a test, okay? You need this lab. You need to make suggestions, use terminology, like things like you may want to look into, talk to your doctor about whether this would benefit you, read about this lab and its usefulness, and then take it to your doctor. Language and delivery is everything in this topic. So yes, you're getting a copy of everything. I'll remind you of that as we go. So don't worry about taking notes. You're going to get this stuff. And don't worry about whether or not you get these things right off the bat. You guys, it takes time to develop the habit of how to deliver information in a way that keeps you in that general approach and that neutral area, okay? All right, number two, ask someone what their instincts tell them could be going on and get their story. Things like, I've been tired, my eyebrows are falling out, my skin is dry. You then make suggestions for labs based on their story. Send them resources and links to understand why you would suggest it. For example, someone complains about painful joints that swell. You may say, joints can start hurting for a wide variety of reasons, but if you are very concerned about it, a test for autoimmunity may be helpful to rule out things like thyroid, arthritis, lupus, and more. Here is a link to the ANA test so that you can take it to your doctor to explore more about what could be happening. If they don't want to go to their doctor, you would send them the URL link for your lab work. Now, I'm going to walk you through all of that on your lab work as well. I'm going to show you about the affiliation and the opportunity for you to make money off that account, okay, off that platform. Do not project. Okay, many health coaches have walked through a journey of their own, me included, that has me really solidified in the things that I understand about the human body based on feeling, experiencing, testing for myself and all of the clients I've worked on. So it can be easy to get in the habit of referring to our own experiences and projecting them on someone else. I'm not saying don't refer to your experience in your story. I love when coaches use their story to help others. However, when you project what happened to you or with you or to you, and you project it out to someone else, you can be blurring the line between what's going on with them and what's going on with them. So for example, just because you had IBS, IBD doesn't mean the client's stomach ache means the same thing, okay? We don't automatically want to say, oh, leaky gut, IBS, IBD, Crohn's, ulcer, whatever you've had experience with. We want to stay as neutral as possible, recommend labs that can rule out the potential symptom problems that they're having, but let them make that decision without the influence of your story by saying, you need this because this is what happened to me, okay? Number four, if a client is resistant to getting labs done and prefers to just take steps to improve things, this happens quite a bit, because people are confused about how expensive labs are, where to get them. They're fearful of their doctor, upsetting their doctor, and so on. That's okay, but make sure you let them know that you are happy to support them. But sometimes if things don't get better or the client doesn't reach their goals for improvement, they might want to consider labs to complete the puzzle. Most of the time, that's what happens. We get to a place where our clients are stuck and they're like, I feel better here, 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 and here, but I still have this, this, and this. And we've done it all. We've done the food, sleep, movement, all of that. It is then time to say, okay, let's get some black and white writing here on some labs and let's figure out what's going on. I coined the term the paper versus the person. And that means when doctors listen to a lab, a piece of paper that says something about the client instead of the person. I believe that there can be a healthy combination between the two. When we have that checklist in black and white and we have the symptoms of the client, we can correlate the two and we can make suggestions and recommendations based on those things that are left over after we've done everything else. Number 5, always send the resources to your lab work and labtestonline.org to the client so they can start learning on their own as well. I will be covering both of these platforms, okay? I'm just putting it here so you have easy reference. And this can put the exclamation point on the point that you are only helping them learn how to interpret their own labs and not interpreting for them. So by sharing the resources I'm going to walk through with you today, you're saying to them, this is where I go to learn. This is where I want you to go to learn. This is where I want you to empower yourself so you can be your own advocate. It is not me doing this for this particular resource. All right? If at any time, you guys, you need clarity on any of this, put it in the Q&A. And just FYI, talk very quickly. But we have a lot to cover. So I think you're going to be, I think you'll appreciate by the time we're done that I've covered so much information at the speed that I speak. So number 6, remind them you're not offering prescriptive diagnostic services, and all suggestions and recommendations, misspelling there, they're supposed to take them to the doctor. And we're going to repeat this over, that we want them to take this to their doctor, okay? I'm going to close this document. I'm going to drag over a new one, and we're going to get started on lab basics and recommendations. All right, still good on being able to see, Dawn? And everybody, just making sure? Good, okay. Yeah, and I'm seeing your comments. Hi, Robin. Hey, Jackie and Sherry. I see some students on here too. Great. I'm so glad you guys are here and taking advantage of this. Okay, so here's the deal. It is a great idea, a good idea to have a basic panel of labs done each year with some exceptions, even without the presence of symptoms. I provide a doctor's template and a successful doctor's appointment guide with your training. We're going to look at those briefly, but they are for you to use in your business. You can take my logo off, put yours on, change it however you want. But it is super powerful to give your clients to use with their with their doctor, to be able to track what's happening with them, to be able to uncover what's going on, and to make the best use of their appointments. And in fact, Dr. Allen he's always complimentary of these 2 templates that I provided, and says, he's an MD and an ER. And he says, if half my clients had this, or my patients had this document, my appointments would have been more effective. I really, really encourage you, when I introduce you to these documents, that you pay attention to what I say about them, because they can be actually a way for you to make added income as well, okay? And they absolutely add value to your practice. I believe it can be a huge piece of being proactive each year for an annual physical. I'm also making recommendations for your lab work platform, and they offer an amazing resource for the client to choose the labs they want. The labs below that we're going to talk about here briefly are written out separately because they step outside a little bit of the conventional model, need a little bit further explanation, and that's based on experience alone. So for hormones, my first recommendation is the Dutch test. If someone cannot afford this method of testing, they can do saliva and blood, but with the caveat that blood is a snapshot, and saliva is just not as it's not as reliable as the dried urine testing. So dried urine hormone testing is the Dutch test, and I have signed up to provide you guys with a coupon or $100 off the test till September 2018 for now. We'll renew it later on, but so what you can do is you can share this link, the Dutch test. All of these lead out to websites. I'm not going to click on them and take you out because I've got too much to cover here, and you can do that when you get the documents. But what you can do is you can extend that link and give them the CHH 100 for $100 off the test as an added value. So if someone really wants to get deep with what's going on with their hormones, with their cortisol, with the metabolites, with all of those, that deep dive, this is the place that I recommend going. Now, saliva would be my next suggestion. You can actually go through ZRT Labs. There's saliva tests all over the place out there for hormones. So, but the Dutch is my preferred option. Now, with the blood test, again, it's a snapshot. It's showing you what's happening in the moment. So things like, free testosterone, DHEA, they can be pretty reliable through blood. But when we're looking at estrogen, estradiol, estriol, all of those things, urine is our best option. A heart scan. So a heart scan is a CT scan that's done at an imaging center and can reveal calcium buildup in the heart and be more beneficial than some basic cholesterol profiles, or in addition to. So if there is someone out there that's doctor is trying to put them on a statin because their cholesterol is a little high, or they're concerned about familial heart disease, and they're a high risk, a heart scan is an amazing way to kind of put them at ease and show them what's really happening in the heart. I've had the heart scan done. I've had the Dutch test done. I've had the other ones done. I've had all these labs done, so I can speak to them. The heart scan is very quick. I think I was in and out in 10 minutes. I had it done just because I was curious, not because I have any history of heart disease or cholesterol issues. But when they handed me a clean scan, it was I think I was 45 at the time. I'm 47 now. It was really one of those things I was able to just kind of put that check next to and feel really good about what I was doing with my lifestyle and my exercise. A lung scan, same as a heart scan, but it can be very useful to someone with a history of smoking. Can be a very valuable tool as well. Now, the reason I put the lung scan in here is not only have I had it done because I was a smoker from a very early age. I think I started smoking at 14 or 15 years old. I did not quit smoking completely until I was almost, I think I was 29 or 30. I think it was 29. So, and also because, I have had multiple friends whose parents have been diagnosed with lung cancer. And once you're diagnosed with that, the prognosis is super poor. And it is one of those things that there can be no symptoms at all. And the next thing you know, you're in 4-stage lung cancer. So a lung scan, in my opinion, can be one of those other things that if someone has been a smoker, if they have grown up with a smoker, and you guys, it also affects you if you've moved into a home that had been smoked in. It's one of those things that can be a preventative and measure and can give you great relief to see the results of that as well. Organic acids testing, which is called the OATS testing for short, offers a comprehensive metabolic snapshot of a patient's overall health with 70 markers. It provides an accurate evaluation of intestinal yeast, bacteria, abnormally high levels of these microorganisms. It can give you clues on why maybe your autoimmunity is being triggered, can look at neurotransmitters, immune deficiencies, acquired infections, and so on. Super powerful, really cool test to look at. Food sensitivity testing is very popular right now. It has been trending up for years because people think it gives them a solid answer to their problems with digestion and disease. I do not rely on these tests as a sole means of diagnosing issues with food. I just don't. I had them done years and years ago, and when I got my labs back, I think it's been probably 8 or 9 years ago, when I was still eating gluten. I thought I was a clean eater because I was eating whole grains. I thought I was a clean eater because I was eating fruit every day and lean meats and things like that. I had that old style of thinking about clean eating. When I got the labs back, I had a red mark next to everything I ate every day. Literally, almond butter, strawberries, gluten, whole grains, like a red mark next to everything I was ingesting. And when I dug into that, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. That I'm sensitive to everything I'm eating every day. I found, and I wish I could remember who it was from. I want to say it might have been Chris Kresser. It might have been a podcast or an article that stated that sometimes these tests can show up as you not being tolerant to specific foods, but those are the foods that you eat every day. So I can't remember the idea, the reasoning behind it. I can do some searching and find it, but I did not do it for this particular test. I have way too many other things to talk about. But if you're interested, I'll go ahead and do some research for you guys. Let me know. But so I don't rely on it. Once I saw that and I read about that, I'm like, well, this is crazy. So I was cutting out all of these healthy things like eggs and stuff like that, and ended up with hardly anything left that I really wanted to eat. So I think that can be really stressful to people when we're working with our clients to say, do not eat anything on this list, or you should consider not eating anything on here, and navigate around that can be very difficult. But it can be useful for people who absolutely need to see results to make changes. So I provided you with a link for more information on all of that testing, IgG, IgA. So if you want to take it further, go ahead and take a look at those links. So any conventional medical doctor can order these tests, but many won't. The lung scan and the heart scan, I ordered myself up at a hospital. I walked in, I got them done. They had a doctor sign off inside. I walked out the door within an hour with all of my results and everything. So when the case is when a doctor doesn't want to order these labs, the next step is to find a doctor who will, or they can order their own and find someone to help them interpret. Now, I recommend yourlabwork.com as your main source of referring clients, and I'll show you why. We're going to go over all of that. For people who can't find a doctor, or have a doctor who won't support the labs they want to order, or if they're just a geek like me and like to get their labs done randomly and don't really want to involve a doctor and they know how to interpret them, or you do, okay? You do not order the labs for the clients in this platform. They order their own. Let me repeat that, because even during the lab training that Dr. Allen and I did, over and over, people kept saying, is this going to get me in trouble if I order these labs? If I order these labs, do I have them shipped there? You do not order the lab for the clients. You are simply going to share a link to your platform. They will then log in. They will choose their labs. They will order their own labs. They will get their requisition. They will get their blood drawn. They will get their own results. They will then share them with you if they want your help with them, okay? And this is a reminder. This is a HIPAA compliant reminder here. Never accept your labs from a client's medical doctor. So if someone says to you, well, I'm going to have my doctor send you these labs, you do not accept them. If they come to your email, do not open them. Instead, trash them, turn around, text, call, or email separately your client and say to them, please tell your doctor, do not send medical documents to my email. The client needs to get them in their hands. They then need to turn around and send them to you, okay? So if your client or you wants to learn more about the labs and really get into why they're important and look them up, watch the video I do on how to walk them through in this. We're gonna go through it here in a safe way. The goal is to empower them and provide guidance, not diagnose them, okay? You're gonna get that video in your training documents when you get the replay. So supplements are a huge trend in the world of health. So please see the article. I'm going to share that with you too, that I wrote for a local magazine on how I handle supplements with clients. For healthy men, a prostate test, a PSA, has also been recommended in the past, but new evidence is showing it may not be a good idea to test the PSA. Let your client decide. So I've got a document that I'm loading some links in. I'm waiting on one last thing. So this document might look a little bit different once it's loaded into your replay stuff, you guys, because I've got a link I want to share with you on that PSA. It just wasn't ready yet. So as with any medication or food, the only thing we should do is to send the resources on the information we feel may be beneficial to the client. So let's use magnesium as an example. Nearly everyone is deficient in this important mineral, and it's necessary for so many things. So when someone comes to me and they says they're not sleeping well and they're constipated, one of my first go-to resources is magnesium. It's easy to make that suggestion. It's not expensive. And it can yield fast results. So Natural Calm is the brand that I really like for the two issues combined, but there are many different kinds of magnesium to choose from. So basically what you're looking at here is these are links out to Natural Calm. This is a link out to magnesium. This is a link right here of the different kinds of magnesium, okay? So let's just pretend someone came to you and they have all these symptoms of magnesium deficiency. You could literally copy each one of these links and share them with your client, okay? Sending them out to learn about it, sending them out to learn about the product, the supplement, and why it's important and what the other kinds of magnesium are, can be just a simple way of delivering information. It takes no time at all. So for example, I would send my client the deficiency link, 1 or 2 resources for a supplement that they would then decide for themselves if this is something they would benefit from. The key is providing a simple explanation of why you think something might be a good idea to look into or consider, and then send the reason and 2 options of each. All right, so let's use vitamin C as an example for the way it may look in a client communication. A client comes to you asking about boosting immunity and heard that vitamin C may be a good idea for the coming fall months. You may write back in the recommendation portion of your communication, something like this. And yes, I recommend putting everything in writing so you don't have to worry about this he said, she said stuff, okay? Hopping on the phone and giving recommendations is not a great idea. Vitamin C is one of the most important antioxidants and therefore promotes better health and can be beneficial during the coming fall, winter, and months. It has also been known to support the adrenals during times of stress. See this link, and I'm providing the client with a link for more information on vitamin C, and the brand I would look into is here and also here. Now, remember a moment ago when I said send 2 resources, and I'm going to talk more about this when we get in the supplement section of the training, but remember that not everyone has the ability financially to order the most expensive vitamin C that we think they absolutely should use, which I would recommend liposomal vitamin C. So we absolutely need to give them something that's doable, that makes sense to their finances, to their stress level and everything else, but also give them the option because maybe they are that person that just hits buy. I am that person. If I know that that's the best of the best, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to go down a notch and just see if it works. I want to spend my money where I think it's most beneficial because I understand it. When we're introducing people to these ideas, we want to do it in a way that doesn't make them feel stressed out. Remember that. So giving them an option that's more affordable is a good idea. As always, read everything carefully. Remember, we're still talking to our client. As always, read everything carefully to make sure you're comfortable with your decision. That includes knowing what might cross-react with medications or supplements you're already taking. Okay. Safe language. Notice how in here I didn't say, I think vitamin C is one of the most da-da-da-da-da. Now, you can say in my experience, but you're not putting your opinion on this particular thing and them taking it as Bible or as, something that they absolutely have to listen to. You're also providing resources and reminding them, make sure you are comfortable with your decision. It's not make sure you're comfortable with my decision as your coach. It's your decision as the client, okay? Just extra protection. The brand of supplement will be individual to you as the coach and to the client's preference. But again, a few guidelines, you guys, to choosing the right ones to send as resources. Check the fillers, because sometimes when we get these chronic condition and chronically ill people, they are sensitive to everything. So suggesting, a product that is loaded with maltodextrin and microcrystalline cellulose and stearic acid and starch and all of these other things really can damper down what the actual product should be doing for them by making their gut not able to handle it if they've got leaky gut or if they are sensitive to anything, sugars, dairy, things like that. So make sure they're non-GMO, gluten, corn, and soy free. So when you follow that rule of thumb, non-GMO, gluten, soy, and corn free, and I mean, yes, it has to say it on the label that it doesn't have those ingredients in it, okay? When you follow that, then the fillers that follow usually aren't as damaging. They may use something like rice powder or something like that, which is a grain, so keep that in mind. But, excuse me, I'm going to try not to go into a coughing fit because talking this much definitely can trigger that. So anyway, just be very mindful of the products that you're recommending. And then also just remember this, if you are a person that sells a supplement line or you are a multi-level marketing supplement provider or whatever, you know, you're walking a really fine line there between looking like you're trying to sell a product because you are part of you're a distributor or you make money on it, and whether or not it's really, really good for your client. So I always suggest if you have a product line, you know, and usually those things are expensive, that you also give the option of stepping outside the product line to get another product, okay? I know that might go against what you think you should be doing because it's your passive income. It's the way that you make money. But it's also pushing people into the belief that you are suggesting something so you can make money or that that's the only product that will work for them. And those are two dangerous areas. They're very gray. So please try to put aside that thought process when you're working with supplements. Know that you're working for the best of your client, not what's best for your pocketbook. They'll purchase from you if they feel like it. But, you know, just remember that health coaching should be your primary profession, not supplements. Because if you're here, that's my assumption today. All right, number 3, offer, again, 2 options, one in the middle range, one at the top range of pricing. You get what you pay for. So I never recommend cheap supplements, but I do go upper level and then top level, okay? Reminder, 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 we are health coaches, not doctors. However, if we can guide our clients to getting the answers they need by being educated, helping them understand what the doctors aren't telling them, we will be even more valuable. All right? All right. Every time I close a document here, it's reminding me that it's done. So let's go to, I want to go to the Q&A real quick. Would the Dutch be more appropriate for men as well, or saliva? Absolutely the Dutch, Carrie, for men and women. Mary said, I would like information about the food sensitivity testing. I have a client who has been told she's allergic to everything except meat and dairy. So when you get into, I will definitely provide you guys with a link with that, with the replay email, okay? But I would definitely, you know, read a little bit about it, IgG, IgA, all of that. And then when you are doing that, Mary, when you're educating people about food sensitivities, we always need to remember that elimination is the gold standard, okay? Gold standard meaning nothing tells you what works for you as far as food is concerned and fillers and all of that, like your own body. That is your signal. And this is another tip when we are working with someone, people who know me very well or my students and the people I've been training know that I recommend a backwards elimination plan. Backwards meaning we don't take it all out at once. We take out one little thing at a time and we make that suggestion to our clients so that they can give their body time to get the message. Is this thing bothering me? Is it not? Is this affecting me? Do I feel better? So that goes along the same line. So gold standard is removal, but I also think taking everything out in an elimination test is very, very stressful. So think about, before you do something like that, think about the approach that you're taking. All right. And if you're a student, you're a member of the mentorship group, you guys, you have all of this information in the food guide. So just remember that. Always return to those resources. All right. Cindy says, what do you think about life extensions? Too many fillers. Okay, so it depends. That depends, because some of the life extensions I've been super happy with. Some of them not so happy with because of the fillers. So, and this is with any product, you guys. There are, you know, there's top of the line supplements out there, standard process, life extensions, pure encapsulations, things like that. Amazing products, but I read every single label. I don't go just by believing that a brand is good because it's one thing that's perfect. I read every single label for every product before I recommend, because sometimes what they put in one, the fillers in one, are great, and then in the next product over, they're terrible. And it depends also on what the product is. Is it an oil-based, you know, like a vitamin D usually comes in a carrier oil. What kind of oil is it in? So it's not necessarily, if the pure encapsulate, I'm just making this up, you guys. I don't know. I don't have a brand in front of me, but let's just use pure encapsulations for an example, or Thorne. let's say their vitamin D is just vitamin D and rice powder or something like that. But then they also sell a liquid, but the liquid is in a carrier oil like olive oil that we don't know where it's sourced from. Would I say across the board that that's a good product line? No, I wouldn't. I would say this is a good product, but the liver has to process that supplement. This would not be a product that I would recommend. I don't know where the olive oil came from, and is the oil, does it go rancid? What can they guarantee? So every label, every time, just make sure that you're reading those, you guys, before you make suggestions. I haven't answered. Hold on a second here. Let me. Closing these. Mary English, where can we find about the undesirability of prostate testing? I'm going to put it in your replay email. I'm going to try to tuck it into the actual document we just went over, but if the doctor doesn't give it to me before then, I'll get it and you'll get it in the replay, I promise. And I'm going to write myself a note so I don't forget. All right. Do I have a supplement brand that I like the best? No, I don't. I have a lot. I have a lot of different kinds of brands, and I'm just not married to one. And it's one reason why I've never signed up with one particular supplement company, even though when I opened the school, I have been bombarded with people asking me to sign up with them and do webinars and all that. I can't commit to one line because I don't think that one line exists across the board. So, Cindy, good. I like that approach. Absolutely. Too stressful when we tell people to take everything out. All right. Do I have a list of the supplements and the best? No, I do not, because everything changes, and and my job is to do the research. So if someone wants to know about magnesium citrate, I'll go out and I'll do a little bit of looking at the top brands that I like. And then if someone wants to know about glycinate, I'll go out and do a search. So, I go individually, and yes, it would be a good training, but it's endless. We would be on a training like that for the rest of our lives, you guys. It's endless. So if you're interested in learning more about supplements, the Vitamin Summit is going on right now. I would absolutely invest in looking into it. I signed up for it. I have not had time to look at it, but it would be a great place to get some of those questions answered. All right. So far, so good, everybody. Okay. Medications, modalities, and resources. And again, remember, I've got links pulled up all over the place over here. We're going to be getting into your labs and lab tests online in just a few minutes, but I got to go over this stuff first. Okay. All right. I like to remind coaches to reiterate your guidelines and make sure you visit this page. This is nutritionadvocacy.org. So if you haven't gone there, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody that hasn't gone there yet. If you follow me at all, you should have visited that site 1,000 times. Find out what the status of your state is. It will also help you to be clear on words we should be super conscious of when speaking and writing. When dealing with medication and supplement conversations with our clients, language and delivery is everything. Reminders, reminders, reminders. I know that I'm repeating myself. I'm doing this for a reason. So, sorry about the dead horse, you guys, but I got to keep beating it with these things with safety and risk. It's super important to me that I don't portray any of this information as giving you full-on permission to be prescriptive and diagnostic. And I hope I'm being super clear about that. So always remember, we're not offering prescriptive services. However, we will be running into many clients on medications and supplements already. In order to protect yourself, be sure and refer your clients out to the resources to learn more about their interactions in specific drugs and supplements. Tell them to take anything they're considering to their doctor for approval. Okay, so here's what you're going to get with these 2 links. And again, I don't want to go out to these links because I will get lost. Full disclosure, if I open a link, I'm skilled enough on this kind of stuff, but it could go somewhere where I can't get it back. So you're going to be able to go through all of this yourself anyway. Each one of these, the drug interaction checker and the WebMD interaction checker, are just 2 really basic ways for you to be able to look up if, not you, the client, to look up if their SSRI of Zoloft should be mixed in with passion flower. And I'm just making this stuff up, you guys, okay? So there's a place for them to look up medications with medications, a place to look up supplements versus medications, and that is their responsibility. If they are taking any medications or supplements at all, please provide them with these resources. Please tell them that they need to be sure that they are not doing anything that contraindicates the other thing. And I always use the example of St. John's wort and SSRIs. Those 2 together are very dangerous. Licorice root should never be taken if you are on a blood pressure lowering medication. There's all kinds of ways that herbs and supplements can interact with medications and other supplements to cause problems. We don't need to educate ourselves about that. You do not need to spend the next 6 months learning about what supplement someone should or should not take with other things. Send the link to the client, let the client make the decision, and you are not in it at all. You're out of it, okay? So you don't even, you can ask them to update you on what they found out, but it's really not necessary because again, it takes you out of that decision-making process for them. All right, so if you're interested in referring your client, I included this modality section here because I think it's important that we have some other things that we can recommend while they're going through the particular lab process or while we're working with them, because labs can be, they are an important part of the checklist, but so are other things, right? So if we can provide them with a way to reduce their stress or manage, to see their stress in a different way, which is what I like to see it as. Most people say manage, so I'm in the habit of that as well. But if we can help them by giving them a different modality that steps outside conventional thinking while they're going through some of these stressful times, I think it's powerful, and we can see a lot of really good results with it. So again, I recommend sending the link to the clients to help them learn for themselves if something in the list resonates with their goal. Many of the modalities are geared towards reducing stress, which is a huge factor in sickness and disease. Every one of these takes you out to learn more about them, okay? Kinesiology, and don't forget, you guys, I have a kinesiology expert coming to the students and to the members of the mentorship group to talk to us about how to muscle test, which can be super powerful for understanding if a supplement or medication is good for you as well, okay? Special consideration clients. Expectant mothers and mothers with breastfeeding babies have a host of other things to consider when it comes to food choices, exercise, etc., and must be handled carefully, especially with supplements, medications, labs, and so on. Always defer back to their doctor, and that's the safest way to work with these women and these babies. You are not just working with mom. Everything that you're doing, you need to consider the unborn child and the breastfeeding baby with every suggestion that you send. It's one of the areas that I am just not, I've worked with pregnant women and women that breastfeed, but they are not an area that I'm super comfortable in. It's been a long time since I had a baby, 13 years ago. And I just don't like the responsibility of someone in that situation. So if you're a person that works with moms and hormones and babies and all that, kudos to you. You also know that folic acid is not the right choice for prenatal care. You can learn why and share the resources that I provided with you here and here. So I have to say that when I'm talking about parenthood and babies and all that, because people are still taking folic acid, which just makes me want to head slap. I can't believe that. So a couple links for parenthood or here and here, and I just threw these in here as bonuses, you guys. This program, the Healthy Baby Code, can take all of these decisions off the coach's plate. Let them do the Healthy Baby Code while you support them through the process. Word of caution, try not to advise on vaccines. If you want to learn more, I provided Michelle Jones's link. She provides that service to everyone and to coaches, and she is absolutely hands down the smartest person on vaccination. So if you want to take that education more, that's a resource for you. All right, going back to questions again. So Debbie's saying, I like to focus on adding the beneficial items, not focus on what I asked them to remove. Yes. Okay, go ahead and put those comments in the chat though, where you guys can talk. So keep this for questions so I don't lose track. Christy, I've already told you guys you're going to get all this stuff in your replay email. Okay, I'll give you everything. You guys are going to get all the documents. It'll be coming to you in a Dropbox. Okay, so whether you're on a PC or a Mac, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to open it up. Okay, so let's talk even further about the supplements and fillers. I want to take this a little bit further. So the only thing we should do as coaches is send resources on the information we feel may be beneficial to the client based on needs and goals. And if you're wondering, I thought this was lab training, not this. Yes, it is lab training, but supplements are one of those things that once you get into this lab stuff, you are going to be the person that is going to be asked about supplements that may help with specific lab results. So it is important that you understand how to deliver and understand supplement recommendations and information. So let's see here. It's a very gray area. We know that supplements can be beneficial, but if we don't find out why they need them, we're really not doing them much good. So I'm tucking this section in here about using, the Institute intake forms with your clients can help you investigate the process of why they aren't well. If you have your own intake forms, you guys, great, use them. If you don't have a system that gives you a general approach, I'm giving a special to everybody, and I'll share it with you at the very end here. But it's important because the intake form is the high mileage piece that shows you what supplements they're taking, that shows you what their diagnoses are, what their symptoms are, what they're dealing with. You get all that information in the front end, and you can do a lot of research at the front end about the labs that they may want to consider, about the labs that may benefit them, how to word the suggestions that you're trying to give them about what labs to do. So having your intake form, your process in line for every single client exactly the same is practicing that general approach that keeps you low risk. So I've also given you and I'm not going to read this to you, but I'm going to give you a supplement article that I wrote. I'm not going to go over that article because you can do that for yourself, but it gives you a good idea of how I delivered information to my community about what I think supplements are for and how to use them. All right. So the first rule of talking supplements with your clients is letting them know what it means. Supplement means adding something added to supply a deficiency. So when we get lab results and we see that they are low in vitamin D, for example, which we obviously, get it best through our arms and legs in direct sunlight and exposing our eyes to the sun. If we see that it's low and it's in the middle of the winter and it's not possible to go out and do that type of therapy for themselves, making a suggestion about how to take vitamin D with vitamin K2 or something like that to supplement the process is going to be really powerful. But again, you would provide those resources to someone. Here is why vitamin D works best with K2. Here is how vitamin D can support your low vitamin D labs. Here is a resource for a higher end vitamin D, and here is another resource for one that could be beneficial while you're in the process of treating this, okay? So being mindful that you cannot out-supplement the body's needs is important, making sure that you make that point to your clients. They're only good for so long that you got to fix that underlying problem, triggers, pathogens, stress, and so on. I've also given you a reiteration here of how to talk to your clients about each one of these. So some of this is repetitious, but we've already gone over this bottom part. So we're not going to do that again, but I wanted to share that beginning part with you guys about the general information and labs and delivery and doing your intakes properly. All right, so let's look at one more thing, and then we're going to dive into the lab platforms. So I've often had people ask me, what if my client says this? What do I say to them? So client says, coach says, more language and delivery education for you here. So if a client says, I have my labs done and my doctor is going to send them to you directly, you turn around and say, it's actually not HIPAA compliant for me to receive those labs from anyone other than you. Please email or mail them to me directly to protect your privacy. Client says, can you tell me what this lab result means or any condition it might diagnose me with? Coach says, I'm not allowed to diagnose or interpret, but let's get the labs pulled up, like I'm going to show you guys in a minute, and take a peek at some resources together and go over what they could mean so you can talk to your doctor about your concerns and results. Client says, I don't want to go to my doctor with these labs. He didn't think they were necessary. What can I do with these results instead? Coach says, I would find a reliable doctor you can discuss these with so you feel confident that everything is okay. You can search for a more progressively minded doctor here. So notice how you guys, here I'm always deferring back to a doctor, but I'm also, when we walk through the process and I show you how to do this, you're giving them more information to make better ideas and choices for themselves, or have better ideas and make choices for themselves as they learn. So it's going to relieve a lot of the pressure that you see when clients come to you with these questions. Client, my doctor won't order the labs you're suggesting I ask him for. Coach, you can always order your own through this site, which you guys, I'm going to share with you, Your Lab Work. So I'm suggesting that you sign up with yourlabwork.com and you will become an affiliate, and you would then share that URL with them right there. Super simple. It's just a one paste and send. Client says, I want you to tell me what supplements to take and when. It's way too confusing for me. The coach would turn around and say, I really wish I could be more specific, but it's in your best interest to use the resources I provide and get educated on what might work best for you. I promise to provide you with the information you need in a low stress way to figure out what may work best. So here's the thing. If you are not a student or a member and you don't know that this is how I work, we do not provide customized approach for our client. It is too gray of an area. When we practice a general approach, we literally cut our time in half. I mean, if not more, maybe up to 70-75% by just providing resources and giving them the support that they need to make the decisions on their own. It takes out so much of the work that coaches are doing today. You don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go in and write up a document about magnesium. You don't have to spend 45 minutes researching vitamin C, okay? You guys, you've got to start handing over accountability and responsibility to your clients and get yourself out of that diagnostic prescriptive position, all right? Okay, closing that one down. And let's look at questions. Sorry, but those pictures of the babies on the bed are adorable. Aren't they cute? That's what they usually do when I'm working in my bedroom. Right now I'm in my other office, but they're just laying staring at me. I get distracted by animals too, Cindy. Debbie says, where can we search for doctors that are more in line with functional medicine in our area? I'm about to tell you all about that. I will tell you all about that. Mary Louise says, where does the link go that connects to more progressively minded doctors? Refind and Renew Health. Used to be primaldocs.com. Okay, and so I'm going to look at that in just a minute. All right. Are we tracking? Are you guys tracking me so far on everything? Just put in the chat, yes, everything, everybody's getting it. Are you understanding how important it is to stay in your lane? Am I delivering information to you guys that you know that is important to understand as a coach in this position? Let me check here. I'm seeing some questions in the chat. Just a reminder, please put your questions in the Q&A, guys. Please, please, please. So your Gita is saying, can you clarify how we can get the testing done? I'm about to talk a little bit about that, your Gita, but really, I would have to say that you need to revisit the webinars that I did with Dr. Allen, because we talked about that. And yes, ordering the labs and go to another state for the blood draw is kind of what we talked about is best. Is it okay that you come there from New Jersey? Yes, I think you can come from anywhere to get your blood tested if you order it. Absolutely. But again, we cover that more in Dr. Allen's webinars. You know, some people I have heard that live in these restricted states like New York and New Jersey actually have a P.O. box across the state line at like a UPS store or a post office. And they use that address to pull their labs and have and just to be able to do that. So they're not as restricted. So that's an option as well if you're close to a state line that you can do that. Okay, well, no, I will not be teaching about the Dutch. And this is why. I don't know it enough. I'm not skilled in it. I don't care to be skilled in it because I have people in my pocket that can tell me all about it. But when you go to the Dutch site, their videos are extremely in-depth. In fact, that's how I got the most of my information. When I first got my Dutch test done, I watched the videos and I interpreted my own. And then I hired someone to kind of walk through it and kind of put the exclamation point on things. The Dutch test is extremely, it's way too detailed and in-depth, and there's way too many pieces. If you've ever seen a Dutch test, it can make your head spin. So no, I'm not going to teach about it. There's way too many people out there teaching about Dutch right now anyway. It's not something I'm interested in doing. So having the price of the Dutch, taking the $100 off, I think the Dutch test, it might bring you down to like $350. If I'm not mistaken, you'll have to go out and see what their updated prices are. Visit their site. Heart scan was $150. Lung scan was $99. And it's going to be dependent on where you live. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for reminding her on the questions. Yes. No, I'm not going to teach on the OAT either. You guys, Dutch, OAT, IgG, IGF, you can watch videos ad nauseum and learn about these labs from the people who created them. And that, in fact, that's what I encourage you to do. I really encourage you to learn about these labs from the people that have created them. I interpreted my own OATS testing from the OATS test, Genova Diagnostics. I interpreted my own lung scan, my own heart scan. I interpreted my own Dutch testing. All of those things I've gone out and learned on my own. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. You don't want to learn it from someone secondhand, okay? Learn it from someone who has studied it and is an expert in it. All right. My goodness. Okay. If they order their labs, will they be able to interpret themselves? I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay. All right. So you're all getting it. Perfect. Yes. All right. My goal is to make sure that everything I'm delivering to you guys is usable in your business and you feel safe when we finish today to incorporate labs into your business in a way that doesn't make you feel like you got to go out and take all these expensive classes and do all that stuff. It's not necessary. Okay. Let's see here. Let's pull over. This is where we're going to start to get into the lab stuff. All right. We're going to use my labs. Let me see if I can open this one up for an example. And these are not recent. I think these are from, last September. But these are a good example because this is kind of what you might be seeing. This is from an actual doctor. This is not from your lab work. I've ordered some of it from there, and I'm going to show you that as well. But this is kind of what people's labs are going to look like when they start coming back to you. And I'm going to walk through a couple of these things and show you a general idea of how to do this, okay? I'm not going through every one of these. There's no reason to, because I'm going to teach you how to do that. If you want to learn about monocytes and lymphs and all of that, you guys, I'm going to show you how to look it up and learn about it. But I'm not going through every one of these. The point is to teach you that you can do this yourself and that you can teach your clients how to do this themselves so that you're empowered to do this. And I don't have to teach you every single one, okay? So the first one we're going to talk about, and I'm going to scroll down here, and then I'm going to open up another window. Hold on a moment. And I haven't done this before with the actual, like this one and this one pulled up and dragged over. So give me a minute. We're going to talk about, where is it? Creatinine. Where are you? Here we are. All right. So we've got creatinine here. We've got a Bunn creatinine ratio. So let's just stick with creatinine serum. Okay. All right, so I am going to open up creatinine and hope I can just drag this one window over. Yay, I did it. Okay. Are you guys able to see that window on labtest.org? I hope so. Tell me that you're good. Anytime anybody loses anything, yes, thank you. Tuck me a message in the chat so that I know that I talked for 5 straight minutes one time and my document wasn't up, which was disappointing. So we looked at my lab. We saw the creatinine. There's the range was, where'd it go? 0.77, which is within range. But let's pretend it wasn't. Let's pretend it's abnormal, okay? So we're at labtestonline.org. If you guys remember in the very beginning of this training, I told you that this is a resource to become familiar with. Bookmark it, use it with your clients, and let's pretend right now you're the client and I'm the coach, okay? So you're the client, I'm the coach. You could either be sitting next to your client where you're looking at the same screen, or you could be on a platform like we're on today where I've got the screen pulled up. They're seeing it, you're seeing it. The most important part about this part of the training is that you are both looking at the same things, okay? You are both seeing what we're looking at here and the lab as well. So let's say they sent you that lab. This is a lab consultation, okay, which you can add that to your services a la carte if you want. And your client is on and they're saying, well, my creatinine was abnormal. I'm very nervous about it. I don't even understand what it means. I don't have an appointment for another 3 weeks. Can you help me? Okay. So then I would say, well, what I'm going to do, I see that your creatinine is a little abnormal according to the ranges on your test that you provided to me. That's not my opinion. It's what we've both looked at. Okay. Let me reiterate that. We both looked here. Pretend this is abnormal. Pretend this is abnormal. We both see that this is, let's say it's 0.49 or something like that. Okay. So we have established it's abnormal only because she gave me the labs. You, the client, gave me the labs. We see that it's abnormal, 0.49. We then both say, let's see what that means. Are you guys getting this so far? Because I'm not giving my opinion. I'm not reading from here without them seeing it. It is not being presented as my opinion that it's abnormal because we see that it was. It is not my opinion that this is what's happening because we're about to interpret it together. So what that looks like. Now, someone's inevitably going to say, well, what if I don't even know what creatinine is? Well, that's okay, because you can say to them, I've never really studied creatinine before. Let's look it up together and let's see what we can figure out. All right, so I like to scroll down here because I like to look at the common questions. It's much easier to interpret, and they've updated their page, which is so helpful. So this is how I would do it. All right, so your creatinine level was 0.49. Let's first look at this to understand why they ordered it in the first place and what could be going on. I would then say, so the creatinine blood test, I'm just reading from here, you guys, okay? I'm not giving my opinion, is used to assess kidney function. As we saw on your test, you were also ordered a BUN / creatinine test as well, which is common. It's a group of tests that are performed to evaluate major organs. So, and always keep it light when you're doing this, you guys. Keep it light, even if it's something could be very scary. Do not impart any kind of panic in your clients. Just walk through this in a very neutral, sort of, positive way. So you might say, okay, let's scroll down a little bit. We don't need to know about all these little pieces, but creatinine is a waste product produced by muscles from the breakdown of a compound called creatine. Almost all creatinine is filtered from the body by the kidneys, released into the urine. Okay, great. So we're getting a general idea. And this is a page that I'm going to encourage you to refer back to. I'm going to share the link with you as my client, so you can read a little bit more about it. It tells you about where the kidneys are. It tells you about what it means if these 2 tests are abnormal. But let's go down and let's just look at your individual result and what it could mean. All right, hold on a second. Okay, so we can say her levels, or your levels, the client, was 0.49, which would have been low. Low levels of blood creatinine are not common, but they're usually not a cause of concern. They can be seen with conditions that result in decreased muscle mass. Okay, so basically, we're kind of putting them at ease. We're like, oh, whew, okay, so it's not common, but it's usually not a cause for concern. So we're going to tamper down that anxiety just a little bit, okay? And then we can say, other references that you've had done can be helpful with that too. So you can even return back to, hold on a minute. the lab and see. It said albumin on that list. You can go and see if they had, and I did have the albumin done, but there it is. If the albumin is normal, looks like albumin is normal, great. So the way to navigate these labs is to walk through, find out where their level is. Now, if the creatinine had been high, we could say, all right, so your creatinine was a little bit elevated according to the lab we both looked at. That could suggest that something's going on with the kidney. So let's just walk through this. Let's not panic yet because you have an appointment with your doctor. Let's get you educated so you can make the most of that appointment and get exactly what you need to make good decisions for yourself. And then you just walk through it with them. Damage to blood vessels in the kidneys. Maybe there's some autoimmunity going on. I can support you with some suggestions for labs for that as well. A bacterial infection of the kidneys could be what's happening here. Death of cells, so on and so forth. So you're walking through this with them. You're giving them some suggestions to read further and to take things further. And then you take them down here. Is there anything I should know? Anything else I should know? And then there's some warnings and whatnot. But here's the thing, you guys. What the main point of this is that you are looking at the lab. You are looking at the explanation. You are explaining it to the client. You are giving them this resource to take it further. You are open for questions if they have questions. Let's say, for example, they say, well, wouldn't I be extra thirsty if this was happening? Something like that. And I'm just making this up. I'm not a kidney expert, you guys. I know just enough to be dangerous. But you could then say, well, let me go out and take a look and let's see if we can find out. Then you might type in their concerns. Low high creatinine levels causing thirst. And you walk them through those concerns. But what it is doing for you, it is taking you out of telling them what's happening, diagnosing them with something serious. You are lowering their stress level by being that person that walks through this process with them and helps them to understand that they are taking control of their health. Here they have this amazing resource to learn. Here you are to support what they walk through and help them to understand things better, okay? Does this make sense? Is this helpful so far, you guys? Okay, let me go up to the questions real quick here. Let's see. Natalia, I'm going to go back to your question in a minute. Anonymous attendee, lung and heart scans are from hospitals, so contact any large hospital like Centennial, Vanderbilt here. No, I do not remember the price of the oat. It's been a couple years. I think it was it was several $100s. You can look it up in Organic Acids, Genova Diagnostics. These right here, a functional interpretation or allopathic. So allopathic, for those of you who don't know, conventional allopathic's a fancy word for conventional. It really just means, not functional interpretation. I'm not interpreting this for you right now. I'm telling you that this is a conventional way for you to understand what these labs mean. My test right here was done, obviously all labs are going to be provided to you in a conventional range. It is our job to figure out what does it mean symptomatically, what functionally does it mean, and that's different with every single lab. So are these functional interpretations or allopathic? It doesn't really apply to what we're talking about right now, but I can answer that further when we look at thyroid, Evelyn, and be a little bit more clear. Cindy says, clients don't mind spending high dollars for doing this. I'm just asking as a devil advocate. Actually, once I walk you through your lab work, you're going to see they're spending much less for doing this. I just ordered some labs today that would have cost me $650. I ordered them for $150 on your lab work today. So, and again, it's up to them. If they don't want to get the labs and they want to continue to question what's happening to them, that's up to them. We're just giving them the option to take things further and put that puzzle piece back into place. So Cindy says, my job is then to help support them, gather information, and garner questions for their medical doctors. Well, you're not coming up with the questions for them. They're asking the questions to you, and then you are, potentially giving them some more things to consider or some things to ask their doctor based on their concerns. However you want to deliver that. I know, but I'm talking about our job. Yeah. So anyway, I'll show you in just a minute. We're going to walk through some of these other things. And Talia, I'm going to go back to your question because we are going to look at the thyroid in just a moment. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see. And I want to check at the chat as well. Okay. Questions in the Q&A, please, 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 please. Yurgita, will you put that in the Q&A box for me? Because I got to go back to that. I'm only going to look at Q&A for questions because I don't want to get lost. Okay. So let's look at another marker. So let's see here. Let's look at calcium. So calcium, 9.5 normal range. I think anything above 10, 10.2 would be an abnormal range for looking at calcium because I've studied it a little bit. Let me drag it over here and let's take a peek at what it means. Okay, so we are looking at calcium. Let's pretend that that person's calcium came back elevated. Again, same scenario, directing them sitting next to you or across from you, you're looking at the same screens. We see that the calcium is, let's say it was 10.4. That would be considered hypercalcemia, okay? So we look at it, blood calcium levels do not indicate levels of bone calcium, but rather how much is circulating in the blood. Absorption, use, and excretion are regulated. You're just walking through these pieces. Now, if you're a person that is super like, you know, like loves labs like me and you understand all this stuff, great. But remember when you're talking to your clients, it's really not necessary to get into all of this stuff by stabilized feedback loops, PTHs, and all of that. They just want to know, why is my calcium high? Do I need to be nervous about it? When we go over their heads, we increase their stress, okay? So let's just, you know, think about scanning through these things, looking for layman's terms. And again, if you do a high intake mileage form and you know, and you're doing your intakes, and you get these labs ahead of time, which is what I always recommend. If someone wants you to look at labs, have them sent to you ahead of time. You can get that general idea of what you're dealing with prior to talking to the client, okay? And that's what I recommend anyway. It gives you a sense of confidence, calms you down, keeps you from being nervous about all this. Excuse me. Okay. So, again, keeping it low stress, we would say, so your elevated blood calcium would be considered hypercalcemia. It's just the medical term for it. Let's look at what that means. Some common causes of hypercalcemia would be hyperparathyroidism. And this is actually becoming more and more common I've seen probably 4 different clients with this problem. And it's usually caused by a benign, again, not a malignant, not cancerous tumor of the parathyroid gland. So someone would normally freak out when they see the word tumor. Most of the time they freak out when they see the word benign because they don't know that it's not, they get confused with malignancy and benign. So here I would say, you know, I've done a little bit of research on this, so don't freak out yet. Let's just calm down a little bit and let's just see what that means. And then you continue to read, okay? Now, cancer can cause hypercalcemia, spreading to the bones and so on. I don't focus on those types of things when it shows up that cancer is a possibility or something super serious, you guys. I don't focus on that. I touch on it as a possibility. And again, remind them that nothing is going to be clear to them until they get to their doctor and they're able to take a deep dive into what this stuff means. What we're doing is we're giving them some education. We're helping to calm their nerves. We're lowering their stress. And we're teaching them how to read their own labs and how to get in here and find out what could be happening in a way that feels good to them, okay? So let's look at one more here. Let me close these down. All right, let's look at one of my favorite enzymes to keep an eye on because of the amount of medications and supplements people are on these days. So we're looking at the AST, ALT. I'll pull over the ALT. These are liver enzymes to take a look at. So, all right, hold on a moment. Here we go. Okay, so ALT, alanine aminotransferase, ALT. So hold on. And I skip how it's used when it's ordered because usually we've got the results and we want to just go straight to what does the result mean. Okay, so again, let's just pretend that the marker was high. Let's pretend that the ALT liver marker was high. I would always go back, and this is just me because I know how to read these things. And you will too. As time goes on, you're going to learn more. Where did my little thing go? Hang on a minute. Okay, let's go back and the AST. So the AST and the ALT are commonly run at the same time because they're in a complete metabolic panel. All right, so knowing that there's 2 markers can be helpful. Go back and look at both of them. Let's say the ALT was high and the AST was low or something like that. Most of the time when people are taking supplements and medications and maybe they've had surgery, they've been on painkillers, whatever, we just need to remember that the liver is one of the main detox pathways. And so when we are overburdening the liver with too much estrogen, too many unhealthy foods, alcohol, fertilizer, things in the air, medication, supplements, and so on, elevated liver enzymes can show up. And people can panic about these things, and with the right to, I should have to say, because the liver is an important organ. I had a friend who had major surgery, a friend/client, She was on painkillers and all kinds of medication for months. After she went through that process, she had a double mastectomy. She went in, got her liver enzymes pulled. Everything was off the chart. She was told she was in liver failure. She was panicking. I mean, just crazy. And I said, send me a list of your supplements and medications and the time frame that you were on them, along with this lab and the time of the lab. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, I don't know anybody's liver who wouldn't be doing something crazy like this. Go back to your doctor and ask him if it's possible to retest, since you've been off the medication, the supplements and all of that, and see if this number improves. And I think it was 4 to 6 weeks. I don't remember exactly. It's been years. Everything came back to normal. Okay. But it wasn't my job to say to her, these will go back to normal. Okay. It's my job to say to her, this could be something that's possibly happening. Take it to your doctor, talk to him about it, get yourself calmed down a little bit, and let's not panic. Okay. So really what this is doing is, and when I pulled it up and showed it to her, she was like, you know, I mean, why would they not tell me this? Why would they not explain all of this stuff to me? And I'm like, because it's a doctor's appointment. You got 15 minutes to get your information. Okay. All right. Does anybody want to go over anything else on that particular lab list? Was that clear enough to show you that literally just getting a lab, pulling up labtest.online.org is a way to pull your client in, explain what you see by literally just reading the information, helping to interpret. You can even print those things. You can highlight them, put them in a PDF, however you want to do it that feels best to you as delivering the information. But the client is just literally sitting there getting educated and starting to get an understanding, nodding their head and being like, this is something I can look up for myself later on. Because for me, you know, health coaches need to be empowering their clients. You know, I don't want to be hired every single time someone gets lab results back, because I feel like if I'm doing my job as a coach, I'm giving them everything they need to be empowered and educated and understand and advocate for themselves. Then they're going to tell everyone else about me, and that's how my business is going to build. In fact, that's how I built a referral-based business. 100% was empowering them, showing them how to do this, giving them the steps to do it without overwhelming them and stressing them. They now have the tools to do this on their own, and I get clients from people referring people to me. Okay, so let me check in the chat, and then I'm going to go to the questions and make sure that we cover that. Then we're going to dive into yourlabwork.com, and I'm going to show you about how to set up your affiliate account, and we're going to walk through some really cool things on their site as well. Okay, let's see here. What again is the name of the lab link? If the lab link you are discussing, I don't understand the question, Sandra. What again is the name of the lab link you're discussing? Can you put, I don't know, be more specific and put it in the Q&A for me, please. So Kate is saying optimal ranges for ALT and AST are 10 to 30 for each. And that's a big range. So that's the other thing we need to make sure that we're very clear about when we're educating about functional lab values and conventional lab values. When we're working with some values, you only have like 0.2 or 0.4, wiggle room when it comes to the ranges. So when we start talking about what a functional lab range is, I think it tucks us a little bit too much in the medical area with that. So I don't really like to go into discussing that kind of stuff with my clients. I like to let them know that there are other ways to find out if they are functionally healthy or if they are not. And that includes finding a functionally minded doctor to walk them through it. I don't really feel like it's a place that we should be comfortable in talking about what a functional range as opposed to a conventional range is directly with our client, unless we are a doctor and we have the training and we understand it 100%. It's too much. I don't know. There's just too much room there for the gray area again to creep in. So for example, that would be something like vitamin D is always the great example because it's changed. We were told before 70 to 90, and that was a functional range, and that all got flipped upside down and turned around. You go to your conventional lab doctor and they're like, well, it should be around 30 to 45. And now, even functional doctors are saying that 70 to 90 isn't necessary. So, what really is true about the range to me really reverts back to what is going on with the client symptomatically. What are their diagnoses? What is feeling better and not feeling better with what we're guiding them through doing, and then retesting later on. So when the thing is it's very difficult to think that every client should be perfectly healthy when you're done working with them, and that labs will reflect that to you, right? But what we can do is when we get labs that are not they're not ideal, or they're showing symptoms of, and labs are reflecting those symptoms, then the retest after we work with them and after they work with their doctor will be really, really good to show whether or not things have improved. And that can be what shows us what their functional range is, because everybody is different. So as opposed to, when we get into this functional and conventional allopathic range comparison in conversation, that's a super gray area, and it's not one that I'm really encouraging coaches to start interpreting and telling clients about. So, okay, so let's go into the Q&A real quick. And I am going to talk about this. I promise to tell you I haven't forgotten you, but I'm going to pull a lab up that's going to kind of help us come back to this in just a minute. Is a lab result either on the bottom of a range or top of a range something to discuss and worry about? Again, like I just said, it depends. It depends on the lab itself. And I'm going to explain that when I use as an example the thyroid in just a moment, because it's a really easy one to kind of go over that with. Can we have a list of the things, elements to look at, as there are so many? Maria, that's another impossibility. And it's really not necessary. So I want you guys to really, for this to go home with you today. You don't have to learn about ALT, AST, bilirubin, neutrophils, lymphocytes, glucose, hemoglobin, any of that until it crosses your path. Now, if someone presents you with labs and there's only one thing on that lab list that looks abnormal, like say their HbA1c is 6.2, okay? It shows you it's above the range. Why would you go through that entire lab and start learning about the ALT and the AST and the glucose and all of that when the only thing that pops up that they're concerned about is the HbA1c? Does that make sense? Am I making sense here? It's the same thing as, learning about all these conditions and diseases and all of these things that everyone's spending all this money and time to do when you may never work with someone with half of those problems. It doesn't make sense to overburden yourself as a health coach with deep diving into every single possible thing that could possibly be happening on the top end of a range, the lower end of a range, a disease, a condition, a problem, if you're not going to work with someone with every one of those. It doesn't make you any more credible to have that knowledge, because when people come to you, they're not going to say, before I work with you, I want to know exactly what you know about autoimmunity. I want to know everything you know about cholesterol. It's not going to happen. It's never happened to me. So learning as you go along with this process, it takes steps. Having the high mileage intake process in place allows you to see what the red flags and concerns are before you sit down with someone across from them, before you sit down and do a session with them. You're going to know. Then you're going to take the time to do that research on those things. You don't have to learn about all these things you think you might want to know about, only the things that come across to you. Am I explaining that clear? You guys need to learn as you go and stop putting all this pressure on yourselves to know everything about every disease at every lab and all of that stuff. It's way too much. It will never stay static. It's always going to change. All right, so Yurgita says, I still don't understand how it will help them because of their conventional ranges. We know they're too broad and whatever happens within the scenes can be missed. No, that's not true. It's not true. They're not too broad to give us a picture of what could be happening. They're preventative. So if someone comes in with a calcium score of 10.4, that tells us that they could be at the front end of something going on with their parathyroid. Maybe they've got an adenoma that's growing. Why would we wait and say, well, in 6 more months, test it again and see if it's growing? We already know it's over the range. We want to say, let's find an endocrinologist to see if we can establish an adenoma on the pituitary gland with an MRI. That's helpful, absolutely helpful. What if we get an elevated liver enzyme back and someone has not been taking medications and supplements? Then we say to them, all right, this is something that we need to pay attention to. These are the tests that you can talk to your doctor about taking this further for your liver. These are preventative tests that we can get clues from. And if they're symptomatic, the symptoms tie into the black and white labs. Most of the time, you're going to see something happening with someone. It's going to show up somewhere on their lab, okay? And yes, we're never going to be able, something's going to get missed. I mean, this is medicine is a practice for a reason. Health coaching is even bigger of a practice for a reason. I mean, we're not going to 10 years of medical school and expecting to come out knowing everything. We are simply supporting that gap between the doctor and the client and giving them that support that they need. We are never going to be expected to get everything between the scenes, know all of the top and lower ranges and get it all. So, I mean, we've got to stop thinking that way. We have to. Investigative health coaching is about what comes to you, investigating it, being proactive with it, delivering the information and the resources in a way that helps that person take it further, and making them accountable to what they do with it. It's not about what we know or what we do with it. It's about how we deliver information. So Jamie says, is this something that you just use if it comes up in consultations? Do we market it as an a la carte service? If so, what's a safe way to do so? I'm going to talk about that. Actually, I'm going to write myself a note because it's, hold on a moment. That's at the end, and I just don't want to forget to do that part. I'm going to walk you through the doctor's site and the a la carte as well. Okay. And yes, you're right on. It is definitely something we can add on to that. Does the heart scan require a contrast dye? Is it a lot of radiation involved? Do you know? I don't remember I know that dye was used for one, but I don't remember which one it was, Linda. And I would just look at, when you guys get the links to them, just look it up on that link. It'll tell you. And as far as the radiation is concerned, I think there are specific locations. Some hospitals have machines that are better about those things. It's individual to where you go. Tammy, for example, with thyroid, conventional medicine numbers are different. Yes, I'm going to go over that in just a moment. All right. Do you have a symptom list that drives suggestions for labs that may be helpful? No, because that's the other thing. Here's an example. You know what? I'm going to pull it up. Give me a minute. I'm going to give you an example of why. Hold on. See, when I'm on two screens, I get a little, I'm going to tell you why some of the requests you guys are asking about, like, can you do a lab test on, or a lab training on this? Can you do a symptom training on this? I'm going to show you exactly why that would be impossible. So give me a moment. And I'm going to pull something over to you. This is what we're here for. We are here to investigate. We are here to help them get to the bottom of things where we, we don't have to learn all this. Hold on a moment. Where is it? Where is it? And let's see, is this it? Is this it? Hold on a minute, you guys. I'm looking for, this might be a good one right here. Okay, this will be a good example just to show you. Hold on. I'm not a really good screen dragger. There we go. And I'll go back to questions in a minute. All right. This is Stop the Thyroid Madness. Now, let's say someone just, Mark just said, can you provide a list of symptoms and tests that go with it? Do you see all these symptoms right here that are listed as people who have adrenal symptoms? About 95% of these are symptoms that people will express with thyroid problems. About 45 or 50% of these are symptoms that someone's going to have with low iron. Some of these are symptoms someone have psychosomatically. Some of these are symptoms people have with estrogen dominance. Some of these are symptoms people have with low DHEA or pregnenolone. There's absolutely no way to match up symptoms with labs. It's all out here on the web. All you got to do is research it. So if someone comes to you and they say, you know what, let me close this one and I'll show you in a minute. Let's say they come to you and they tell you that they want to know how to see if their eyebrows falling out is what is coming from. What lab would they test for that? It's really quite simple, and I'll show you how you do that. All right. You would say eyebrows falling out, functional. You can put the word functional. You can put the word natural path, whatever. And use the words eyebrows falling out. You can say tired. You can say foot hurts, whatever. You put the word functional in here, you're going to get some articles and information. It's going to give you some ideas of where these things might come from. So brows and bodies. Here's 10 reasons why your eyebrows fall out. I mean, this is so simple, you guys. And yes, it's Google, but this is where people are going to look things up too. What we're here to do is to help them end the overwhelm and find reliable resources. So let's use another one. Reasons, let's say, reasons for, I don't know, dizziness. We'll just pull one out of the list that they gave us to choose from. 7 causes of dizziness and how to stop them. You can say lab tests for a bit of dizziness. I mean, like, this is easy stuff. You can do this. You don't have to have a list to refer to. Routine blood labs, testing for blood sugar, blood counts, electrolytes, thyroid function can help with dizziness. Okay. And then you can take it further and look it up, and you'll find 1,000, labs out there that you can suggest and recommend for your clients. But there's no need to learn all this stuff on the front end. Learn it as it comes to you. All right. Now I'm about to pull up yourlabwork.com, but let me see. Let's see here. Yeah. Kerrigan, you're right. They definitely run the household. That is for sure. In fact, 2 of them are sleeping at my feet right now. Evelyn, I went over what a heart scan is and why it was important early on. So when the replay comes through, you can take another listen to that. Debbie, do you have a list for the extra items to be tested? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I used some info you gave us in December. The technician was surprised and requested 19 extra items. Oh, yeah. So, no, wait a minute. Are you thinking, I think you're thinking about the doctor's template, which I'm going to open up for you, Debbie. Is that what you're talking about? What extras are good for thyroid, liver, diabetes, et cetera. We're going to go over all of that in just a minute. So yeah, no, the heart and lung scan does not have to be ordered by a doctor, at least not in the state of Tennessee. Yes, we can look at iron in just a second. So I'm going to leave that question there, and I need to go to Natalia in a minute. But let's go ahead and let's pull up the custom yourlabworks.com. All right, for those of you who are not if you have not signed up with yourlabwork.com, a link to sign up through this is in your documents. It's going to go out with a replay. And here is why I suggest first of all, watch the yourlabwork.com webinar with Dr. Allen. It comes with your training. You guys I'm telling you, when you get the Dropbox, it's going to be loaded down with all this stuff for you. Watch the webinar with him. Then watch the webinar with him and I about the how to look at specific labs, cholesterol, and things like that. When you sign up to be an affiliate with them, you will go to the bottom part of their website on any page. Okay, you will click the affiliate area. And hold on a minute. I've got a lot of stuff open, so my bandwidth is really slow. But you will sign up to become an affiliate. I'm already in here as an affiliate. I'm not going to log out. But what it will look like is you'll get a video, and it'll give you a unique URL. I got to take a drink, you guys. Sorry. Okay. This is a URL. This is a URL for those of you who are like, what's a URL? You will take your unique link. Sorry. Hold on a moment. You will copy it. Okay. Hold on. If I can do this. It may not let me. Yeah. Okay. So copy. When you work with a client and the client says, I want to get some lab work done outside of my doctor. I just want to do this on my own. You would copy your unique URL, not mine. Yours will show up differently. So you might be 102 or 205 or something like that. You will copy that link. You will send it to your client. Your client will click that link and it will take them to this site. You will get 20% off of every sale that you make on lab work. Okay. And we talk about the ethics of this. So, before you start talking about how you're making money off labs is unethical, it is not. And we talk about that in detail. Dr. Allen is one of the most ethical doctors I've ever spoken to. When you'll hear about it in the webinar, how you can do this. You will then share your URL on your website. You can put a banner on your website. You can put it in your documents. You can put it as an a la carte thing where, and let's talk about that a la carte thing for a minute. So an a la carte service is what I teach my students and members to do. You have a little list at the bottom of your fees and services. A la carte, you might have something like grocery store trip add-on, pantry clean out, pantry and refrigerator makeover, which is what I've got a lot of my coaches using that training that I provided for that. And it's fabulous. You might have a, lab consultation, and then you would provide your URL link there. So if they want to get some labs done and have a conversation with you, just like we're doing right now, they would use your link, go out and order the labs that they want. Okay, right here. And I'm not going to walk through his site because we've already done 2 webinars on this. But I am showing you, if you get a client and they say, I want to do, and we're going to use hormone thyroid because we've got some questions about it. So they say, I want to do a thyroid panel. Which ones would you recommend? So what I would say, because of the education I have on thyroid and knowing what I know about it, I would say, I think an entire thyroid panel is absolutely the best way to go. And they would hit thyroid hormone and they would choose this lab panel right here. Okay. And if they're like, well, I don't even understand why you would suggest the thyroid hormone panel, you can say to them, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Have the screen pulled up and you walk through the reasons to check TSH, free T4, free T3, thyroid peroxidase antibodies, thyroid globulin antibodies, reverse T3, and selenium. Okay. So you're again not saying to them, this is what this is. This is why these things would be tested. Okay. It's all right here. This is why it's not necessary to explain the labs and understand them all and learn them all and all of that before you have to. So I'm going to go up to the Q&A and I'm going to go back to Natalia's question. And then I'm going to also talk to Tammy's question as well. So Natalia's saying, I know my mom has thyroid symptoms. She refuses to get functional labs. So she refuses to get labs, okay? Because all labs are labs. She says she already did the labs and everything's normal. So she did conventional labs, meaning a conventional doctor ordered them from them, but labs are labs, right? So I looked at the labs. They don't include thyroid markers. Oh my gosh. I looked at those labs and they don't include the markers, but she's afraid that if the markers are off, she'll have to take pills, which she won't do. I'm afraid she's wasting time on delusion. I hate when that happens. How to deal with a client or a family member like that. So that's one of those things that, so here's how that looks. With a particular family member, I would say this. Okay, so I understand that you believe that everything looks okay, but I would like to make a suggestion as someone who loves and cares about you, that you take the testing a little further, because you are symptomatic of thyroid issues, and there's a lot more deeper testing and some real questions about what the labs actually mean when they come back. I've got some education on that topic and I would love to take a look at it. Wouldn't you rather feel better and know than sit here and wonder if you're going to have to live like this for the rest of your life? I'm fine not knowing. You're going to get that a lot of times, or you're going to get that family member or that close friend that says, I'll just go with what they said, I'm fine. But you know that their hair is falling out, or they've got weight they can't lose, or they're exhausted, or their legs are puffy, or their eyes are puffy. You know it. Sometimes you just have to let people go. Okay. Now with clients, and I'm just saying that that's not your yard to mow. That's not your lane to get in. All you've done, you offered, you gave them the suggestion, the recommendation. They know that you're there. They'll come back to you if they ever want your help. And that's it. With a client that's saying that, all you can say to them is this: you are extremely symptomatic according to all of the things that you've told me, and all of the things that we've had this discussion about. I would really, really, really encourage you to go back to your doctor and tell them that you need a complete thyroid panel, or you want to see some more details because you feel like you're symptomatic of thyroid issues. Or you can say to them, your symptoms are screaming that something's going on with the thyroid. Let's walk through and let me tell you why I say that. Then you walk through the labtestonline.org, or you walk through here, or you go to Stop the Thyroid Madness, however you want to educate them, and you suggest they come here to get their labs done. But let me just push this home for you guys too. You can't make anyone do any of this, and trying to do so is only going to frustrate you. Know what you're responsible for, know what you can do and what you can't, and if someone's not interested in doing it, you can't push it. You can't make them. And here's the other thing. If they're not willing to do labs to find out what's happening and they still feel sick and they're not reaching goals, you can fire them. See, that's the beauty. It's your business. If someone's not doing the work to get well and it's frustrating you and wasting time, and they're not going to be a testimonial or a referral for you, and you're just flat out tired of dealing with that, then just let them go. And I know that's not a popular thing to say, but I've done it before, because if people don't want to do the work, then I don't want to do the work either. So there's the answer for that. Okay, so as far as Tammy had a comment about thyroid ranges, yes, absolutely. Thyroid is a good example of how ranges, free T3, free T4 should be at the top 25% of the range. And we know that because thyroid is literally everywhere right now. Everyone's talking about it since the Thyroid Summit, since Isabella Wentz's book, and everybody's got all this education. So we're learning that as we go along. We're learning that those ranges that conventional allopathic medicine provided to us are not a great way to see if someone's doing well. But one of the reasons we know that is because we're listening to people for a change. We're starting to hear that people that have these thyroid numbers are very unhappy. They're very unhealthy. They're overweight. They're exhausted. They're stressed. We know that those labs are not normal because we're starting to talk about it out in the mainstream community. And it's not, and it's one of those things I'm fascinated by, because I have thyroid problems. I've got Hashimoto's. So I'm way too intimately knowledgeable about it. I wrote a whole book about it, as a matter of fact, and I sell a training on it. That's why it's that important to me. But, you can't possibly know ranges for every single lab out there. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So when it comes to this kind of thing, we have to listen to the person. We have to look at the labs. We have to see what they're doing to fix the problem. And then we determine, what do you feel comfortable with doing next? So if someone says to you, my TSH is, they say it's normal, but it's 3.0, I don't feel good, I'm taking Synthroid, nothing feels right, then you know that there's a lab out here that can take it further and see if they're actually they're converting that hormone from free T4 to free T3. Then you take it further. But if someone says, like for me, like my TSH, my last test, I think was like 2.0 or something. I like it to be lower. I feel better when it's lower. I'm only taking Synthroid. But you know what? I'm sleeping really well now. I'm able to CrossFit. Even when I'm under significant stress, I know what things I need to do at the end of my day to feel better. And so would I want to take my labs and go further with it and do this? No, I don't feel like it's necessary for me. It's ultimately up to the client and what they want to do. And if they're fine with what they have, that's fine. But if they're not getting where they want to be, you guys have to make a decision on whether you want to continue to work with them. I hope that all makes sense. Okay. So iron is a good one that we can go deeper in. We'll look at that in just a moment. I'll pull up the iron markers. Cindy said, I did get this done. They haven't given me no, they don't give you the unique URL. You log back into your affiliate account and you pull the URL. You should already, I mean, everybody that signed up after that webinar got approved almost immediately, Cindy. So if you're having problems, contact their support team, but you should be able to log into your affiliate account and pull your URL up. It's already generated for you. Christine said, can you get an extension on the pricing? The sale ends in 4 days. I need time to research what labs I need. I'm pretty sure that they'll extend it, Christine. Why don't you go ahead and tell them that you're one of my people and tell them that you need some extra time. In fact, if I remember, Dr. Allen said he would actually extend it, but email him yourself, and then I'll also email him for an extension. So the more of us that are asking, I'm sure the more powerful it would be to get him to extend it. How long does it take to, we've already done that. Okay, what's a reasonable fee for our labs in our a la carte list? That depends. What I would probably do, Kate, is I would, I would probably do an hour and a half, a 90-minute consultation, because you're going to be doing like what we're doing today. You're going to pull the labs up. You're going to get labtestonline.org, or you're going to pull up your lab work right here. So it's going to be a little bit more lengthy of a session. So I would price it accordingly. And again, demographics are everything. Where are you working? How much are you offering? What's your experience? That's everything to take into consideration when pricing this. But let me structure this for just a second for you. Here's something that you might be able to do to add to your business right away, literally. You could offer to do a lab consultation. So it might look like this. What's offered in the lab consultation service would be something like first appointment or first consultation would be 1 hour, 60 minutes. I will go over I will go over your concerns. So you would do an intake form. Might do a briefer intake form. I will go over your concerns. You and I will get on yourlabwork.com. Okay. We will get you we will get you looking at and understanding what labs might be powerful for you to have done according to what you've expressed to me. I will provide you with the URL link. And then once you get your labs back, we'll have our second session. And I'll walk through what those things mean and make recommendations. So you could do a 2-part lab consultation, or you can simply send an email with your URL and they can hire you to just do the interpretation type walkthrough stuff, okay? But this is in-depth stuff, you guys. So don't underprice yourself. And again, I would also offer support follow-up by email so that, you're not getting, can we get on again? Can we hop on again? Because yeah, you can charge them again to do an in-person consultation, but add the support by email in and add that into your price as well. I probably wouldn't do something like this for less than, I would say, $225 probably. That's because I'm an over-deliverer and I've been doing this for a long time. So an hour, $225, longer than that, more money. So Lisa, would you recommend I let the members in my private Facebook thyroid support group know about my affiliate link? Yes, I do. How to do the interest of being in service versus a sale or offer. Once I don't understand. Explain that to me, Lisa. Give me more details or put it in a sentence that I don't understand what the question is. But yes, share the URL everywhere. Put it in your private thyroid group. Put it in your public groups. Put it in your documents. Put it on your website. Just remember this: once you sign up as an affiliate, you have to disclose that you're an affiliate. Okay, you have to let people know that you potentially might be making money off of them using this service. But I mean, I mean, usually people don't care. They don't care, but it's by law, you have to let people know that. So be a little more specific with the second part of your question in another question, Lisa, because I'm not getting it. Cindy, you must spend a lot of time reading everything. Your memory must be excellent. I mean, you know what? It's crazy is I mean, I can't tell you, you know, from 1 minute to the next sometimes in my daily life, but I can pull out so much information from 15 years ago that I learned about autoimmunity. It's bizarre. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I do a lot of, I'm a continual learner though. So it helps to keep your brain sharp. How can I pass my cut to the client for savings? You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't pass your cut on, Evelyn. You make money on it. And this, because this site is already, it's already anywhere from 15 to 40% less expensive than any other labs out there that you're going to get. Any lab tests now, more expensive. Lab tests anywhere, more expensive. Doctors ordering the labs for you, more expensive. Do not pass your cut on. Don't do that. Make some money on this, okay? You deserve to make some money. You're doing the work. Jessica, I'm going to get some labs done and cannot decide between thyroid and hormone. Okay. I suspect I'm estrogen dominant, have adrenal issues for years, feel symptoms to be thyroid. Thyroid through, yes, absolutely. Thyroid through your lab works and a Dutch test later if needed. 100%, Jessica, that's how I would proceed. I'm going to show you guys what I just ordered today too. Woo, fast talker. All right. Don't we want to share our knowledge of thyroid without having to show them on the screen? Or no, why would you do that? Tell me why you would do that, Tammy. We want to show them our knowledge of thyroid and share with them how they can learn more about the thyroid. We don't want to, we're not going to keep that to ourselves. We're educating our people so that they don't ever need us for thyroid again. We don't have to look like the expert by knowing it all. We look like the expert by bringing them to this resource and saying, I'm going to help you do this for yourself. Right. So no. That's the other thing. I should just do a whole training on myths, busting the myths in health coaching. You don't have to look like it's something you created. You don't have to look like you're the one that wrote the book on thyroid. I mean, I'm giving it, when you do my thyroid training, you get my book and you use it with your clients. I don't care if, you know, it doesn't matter who wrote it. It's the fact that you're delivering that reliable, credible information. That's what makes you look like the expert. You're the one that's calming them down. Everyone gets a little too hung up, I think, on looking like the expert. I hear that a lot in the marketing. Sometimes I see it in some of our copy that we use, and it makes me go, you know, that's an ego thing. I don't really care if someone sees me as the expert, as long as I'm giving them what they need. That's the important thing for me, is that you get what you need from me, even as your educator. Am I an expert on a lot of things? Maybe. I don't know. Do I care if you think I am? Not really. Are you getting what you want from me? I hope so. And that's what you should be doing with your clients. Okay. That's the main goal. Yes, Evelyn, there was a thyroid summit last year, I think it was, where you get magnesium levels assessed. You do a red blood cell magnesium test. That's in here as well, the nutrient panel. I guess we can go into educate on functional thyroid numbers if I can read of an online source. Can we do the same for liver numbers as long as we as long as we are reading an online source? Yes. Just pull up what you learn in front of them and let them decide for themselves, you know, what they take away. It's up to them. Can I order them for my adult daughter with my email? Yes, you can. And some of these questions, you guys, are going to be answered by just going out to the site and learning and studying your lab work. I don't know everything there is to know about them. Watch the webinars and ask them the questions about their particular product. What do you put in the box for website URL and signing up for an affiliate link? What do you put in the box for the website URL? Okay. I don't know what the question is. Yeah, I think you're asking how to sign up. If you're asking how to sign up for an affiliate, it's going to be in your replay. I'm not sure if that's the question. Let me know. And then I want to go back to, I'm going to take a break from questions for a minute, you guys. I got to keep going on this training. Let's look at, and then I'll go back to them, I promise. So let's look at this. Okay. So the nutrient panel. So she had asked, where is it? I think it was Debbie. Yes, it was. Iron. So looking at iron, let us take a peek at going deeper with iron. Just a moment. Test descriptions. Let's go down here. And this is a resource right here, you guys. Look at these things and why, the reasons to check it right here. Okay. And I'm sure they're going to be expanding this. I'm absolutely positive they're going to be expanding this. But why would someone want to look at their iron? So because I know that low iron can cause breathlessness and heavy legs and heart palpitations and can affect your thyroid medications and all of that. Also, having low iron can mimic thyroid. It can mimic adrenals. It can mimic low estrogen. Having a thyroid lab test can be super, super powerful to having thyroid and having iron to determine exactly what's happening. So let me pull this lab over for you, Debbie. And y'all let me know if this is helpful. If you guys are, I want to know that you're getting something out of this, okay? Because I put so much time into this training, and so much, information into it. I just want to make sure I'm covering everything for you. All right, here we go. So here's your deep dive into iron. Okay. So I love labtestonline.org for how they lay out how we deep dive into iron. This is how I learned about all of the things about why a simple ferritin, which is your storage iron, is not adequate. Everyone's like, well, my ferritin is fine. Well, okay, fine. You say that, whatever. Okay, I want to see your TIBC. I want to see your UIBC. I want to see your transferrin saturation. I want to see your flat iron. Why do I want to see all of that? Because look at how intimately connected all of those labs are with what could be happening to someone. So let's just use this across the board. Let's say someone is told they have low iron and, they're like low ferritin. You have low ferritin. Okay, well, low ferritin, high ferritin. High ferritin can be a high inflammation marker somewhere in the body. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're iron deficient. So let's just say that is the only marker someone got done. We really don't know what it would mean. Having all of these can say, oh, okay, clearly you are anemic or you're iron deficient. Then you can take it further by reading down here what it means. What is iron deficiency? Where does it come from? What are the symptoms of it? What does someone who has high iron, what does that mean? What do you do about it? But this is a really good site to take those things further. Okay, so Debbie, if you want to know more about iron, labtest.org is your place to go for that. Okay, let me close that one down. All right, so let's go back to your labwork.com and how this benefits your business and how this benefits you. So backing up and taking a couple steps just to explain this again. You sign up as an affiliate down here. So you do this, become an affiliate. And I'm already one and I'm logged in. So I don't know what, okay, yeah, good. I thought it might take me directly there. This is going to explain to you how you can become affiliate and how you benefit. Let me just say this right here. It says receive a 10 to 15% commission on sales you generate. If you come from me, you get 20%. Do not sign up as an affiliate without signing up with my link. I get more. My students get more. I get to offer you more of a commission because he extended that to us as the first group of health coaches that's going through yourlabwork.com. It will benefit you, okay? You get to read about how to get started and so on and so forth. Then let's say you get signed up, all is well. You go to your affiliate area and you log in, okay? I need to move my picture out of the way. So over here, you can see that I am logged in. You can see that I have, my portal here, all my statistics and so on. But this is where you go to grab your URL that Sandy was just asking about right here. It's already generated for you. If you sign up as an affiliate, they approve it. You have a URL, grab it, Twitter it, Pinterest it. It doesn't matter as long as you are being very transparent about the fact that you make money on it. Start sharing this. Create a sales or landing page. In fact, you know what? I'm going to ask Claudia to help us with that as well. But create a landing page and have this URL included in there. This is actually, you guys, it's just going to be one of those things that's so easy. I made almost $2,000 last week off of this particular platform. Okay. That was just me sharing, getting the word out, spreading the word about all these labs and so on. So this is a passive income generator for you, but you've got to sign up with it and you've got to use it. So here's the other thing I want to show you. Hold on a moment. And let's make sure this is still up. Yep. Okay. So here is the link for you guys to sign up through me to get the 20%. Kathy, please put your question in the Q&A. I see a question going in there from Kathy. If you'll put it in the Q&A, that would be great. Hang on a moment. So I just plugged in the chat. I would grab it right now, put it in your bookmark, sign up to be an affiliate. Here are all the specials that are available to my health coaches right now. Nutrients panels, inflammation panel, cholesterol. And I'm telling you this because I've had multiple coaches order this one right here. This has been the big daddy right here. When you do this, you are getting all of these labs done. It is like everything comprehensively that you can possibly imagine. And I'm going to show you what happens when you order it to you guys. So hang tight. But what happens here is that's a significant discount. You get a 20% off your own labs. You make it back. Nobody does that. This is the only affiliate that I've ever signed up that allows that. So use the IFHC link right here. Sign up at the bottom of the page. Become an affiliate. Start using your URL and start getting the word out to your clients that you are able to offer this service, okay? Okay, now here's what happened. Hold on a moment. I placed an order. I'm gonna stop my share for a minute because I get private emails and from clients, and I don't want it popping up here with their medical stuff. So let me close this window and just show you. And then I'll share again, I promise. All right, so I ordered my own labs. And this is what came to my email, okay? So I ordered total thyroid panel because I got one done maybe 5 or 6 months ago. I like to look at them by myself. I don't need a doctor to tell me what it means or what to do about it. So I ordered that. And then I did a CBC CMP to do some potassium sodium ratio testing, get my liver enzymes because I went on a supplement protocol and it was antibiotics in December. So just to get my own little baselines, I ordered my labs. Hang on, and I'll show you this too. And I scheduled, this is what came up for me to schedule it. So when you order it, you go, yourlabwork.com takes you here. I put my information in here, okay? I scheduled it. And where did it go? Hold on. And this is, oh, darn it. Hang on. This is what came to me, okay? This came to my email confirming the date and the time, the location, and my confirmation number. It is that simple. Within 1 minute, I had a site to log into to get a lab appointment, and I received the confirmation. So now I have my order, and I have my confirmation, and I go tomorrow. I have the blood pulled. It gets delivered directly to me. I think it comes by email, and I don't think it comes to the portal. I think it just comes directly to my email. And I'll be able to read my labs tomorrow, or well, let's see what's tomorrow, Wednesday. Should have them by Thursday or Friday. Very quick turnaround, 33% less. So let me show you guys what I ordered. Hold on. And this is how I did it. So let's see. All right, so I knew I wanted to do a thyroid test. So I did the thyroid bundle. So I did this one right here. And then I knew I wanted to add on, where did it go? Where is the basic marker general health screening? So I did the complete bundle of both right here. Yeah, so $166 is what I spent. And when I priced it out other places, it was anywhere from $195, $250, and then the doctor's labs, looking back at some old labs, it was over $600. So it's a no-brainer for me, you guys, to use this platform. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to questions again. What lab can we show them to compare prices to? What labs were you using before you found your lab work? Yes, so I used Lab Test Now, and I get them confused. Lab Test Now, and I think Lab Test Anywhere, I think are the two that I would get a requisition, and then I would go out into my community and get them done there. So those are the two. You can also use wellnessfx.com. I'm going to take you guys there in just a minute. Okay, Lisa says I answered it well. It's okay. It's when we start typing, I mean, don't worry about how you're writing your questions. I just got to make sure I'm clear on them. I don't want to answer something wrong. Jamie, is there a list of benefits like you just mentioned to getting labs through? Yes, I just went over that. Yep, price, availability, quickly. Let's see. Because it is my brain already. I don't know what that means. Oh my gosh. I think a lot of us feel like we need to impress the socks off of our clients with tremendous knowledge to look legit. You do not. You do not. And here's the other thing. If you're doing this right, and I say right because this is the only way that I found that made me feel super confident, made me feel like I never got stressed out with working with clients, made me feel educated and prepared in working with my clients, was to have that system in place. Get the intake form before you meet the client, okay? That's a million of my trainings. I've talked about this 1,000 times. Someone wants to hire you, do a 15-minute consultation. They know they're ready to work with you, send them your fees and services and your intake form. They send the fees and services and intake form to you. You say, I need at least 3 days to review your intake. They pay you. You have time to look over what they need. There's no reason to even spend months learning about this stuff. You learn as you go, and they will be impressed. And trust me when I tell you, what they really want from you is support. They want inspiration. They want you to end the overwhelm. They want to feel good. They're not out there going, oh, she knows everything about, this, and this. Half the time, they don't even know what we're talking about if we get too deep, okay? Yeah, Nira says, I don't have a health coach certification yet. Can I sign up later? No, you can sign up now. You don't have to have a certification to sign up. And Nira, if you haven't come to the Institute for Functional Health Coaching, you need to, because I teach all of this stuff. Get your certification through us, because we cover everything you could possibly need to have a successful business, okay? I've got students on here that can tell you that. How do we help client find root cause for thyroid issue, or is it not safe? Yes, it's safe. Evelyn, you have an entire week of thyroid training in the Institute for Functional Health Coaching. When you get to that week, and I think it's week 17, you're going to learn more about thyroid than you ever possibly imagined, including how to help your clients find the root cause. Rebecca, can we make some kind of lab page? Yes, on your own health coach website to advertise the link and offer education on how it works. Yes. I think that's a fantastic idea. Make a landing page or a sales page. That's a great way to do it. And then you have your URL that you just share with them. What would you do? What would you suggest to do? Natalie asked, the thyroid labs are within the conventional range. The doctor says your client's okay, but looking at it from a functional approach, she does have problems. Client tends to go to doctor for analysis. I would say, how do you feel? And she said, well, I feel like crap. Well, then, maybe the conventional range is not okay for you. Let's make sure that we've had an autoimmune test for sure, because autoimmunity is usually at the root of symptoms, right? Because it causes inflammation and so on and so forth. So the question for me is always this: if the doctor says that the client is fine, first of all, I'm not talking to the doctor unless they invite me to the appointment, which I've been to, and they don't invite me back because I call them to the carpet a lot, and I ask the client, permission to speak to the doctor for them, and they give it to me, and we get answers that don't make sense, so they go find another doctor. So that's always the other option, is if you're not getting what you want from a conventional doctor, get another doctor. But you always say to them, how do you feel? I don't feel good. All right. What do you feel like you're capable of doing at this point to dig further? Do you want to take you want to do some other labs, and then we can look at that? Do you want me to go through a thyroid training with you, and we can do that? There are other things to do, but I just never go by just what the doctor says. And if the client is married to what the doctor says and they're going to stick to it, maybe they don't need a health coach. They need, I don't know, maybe they need to just go to their doctor and stay sick. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. If they're not willing to, don't hire a health coach and then ask what they can do. If they're going to say, well, I'm just going to go by exactly what, the labs say here. I'm going to help you with customized, not customized, general approach, but I'm going to help you understand how you can customize what you eat and how you live according to what feels right to you and good to you. Okay. It's always putting it back on the client's plate. It's your business website. If you have one, I put NA because I don't have one yet. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. You don't have to have a certificate. You don't have to have any of that stuff. You can become an affiliate and grab a URL and share it on social media, Twitter, anywhere you want. Is blood the best way to measure vitamins and minerals? I would say right now, that it's just as reliable as any other method. And yes, I've had mine done by hair analysis. I've had mine done by blood. I've had other markers done, and it's all pretty much within the same range. The best way to test genetic mutations, for example, HFE. So genetic mutations and SNPs and all of that stuff. Here's what I recommend for people who want to go deep on genetics. I would suggest getting your 23andMe done, and then I would download that genome report to Toolbox Genomics, Genetic Genie, or Strategene by Ben Lynch. That's the route that I would go with that, okay? And yes, anything you want to see added to yourlabwork.com, if you send them an email and say, I'd really like to see methylation, I'd really like to see this, they are building this. This is not ever, when you do something like this or something like my school, it's never completed. We're always growing and developing it based on what you guys need. So He will add and look into adding things that you guys suggest. If it's possible, I'm sure he'll do that for you. You know, just same with me. If you want training done that's within a scope that I can offer, I will do that. Okay. I haven't allowed clients to email labs to me due to HIPAA. Good. Yes. If they email it, just not to their doctor, I would say so, but I would also make sure that your email server has a HIPAA compliant component to it. I'm trying to remember, Kate, if it was Gmail that has that or not, but what I would do is just go out and Google receiving HIPAA compliant email, and whatever your email server is, see what you need to do that. Okay. Let's see here. Everything keeps disappearing. Karen said, I have the page pulled up to get an affiliate link. One of them asked for a website. What do I put in that box? I don't think you have to put anything in that box. It should allow you just to go ahead and sign up. Let me know if it doesn't, and then I'll get you some answers on that. Let me write myself a note. Let me know, though, if you'll put it in the chat. That way I can look at the chat later on, too. Is it possible to have them come to you? The labs delivered to you? Is that what you're asking? No, I would not do that. And I don't think it's possible. Hi, Carmen. Yes, the replay will be available. And for a senior client who's not computer illiterate, is there any way to order labs on their behalf? I would not suggest it. I'm sorry. I would suggest having someone who is related to that senior client come over and do it for them, but I would not suggest that you do it. Unless, you know, the only way that you could probably get around that is if you were able to do a screen recording, which is what I do when I'm training, of that person sitting with you, or do a Zoom recording of that person sitting with you and you pulling this up, her telling the information, whatever you got to do, as long as she is there and she signs a disclaimer that says that that she wanted that done, or something that shows that you are doing that on her behalf. That's a legality, so I would probably reach out to like Sam Vanderwielen or Lisa Fraley, or maybe even a local lawyer, and ask them. Or just make sure you have a recording of the process so it doesn't show you being the person ordering the labs for her, if that makes sense. Okay. Yes, Nira, you can definitely get, without the certification, you can order your labs and get a discount. Let's see here. For example, my mother doesn't know what the internet is, what a text is. How can I get her labs ordered? Yeah. So if it's for your mom, then do it for her by just making sure that you have all of her information and you're sitting with her and she's compliant to you doing so. Yes, this is cheaper. For me, I don't know what Kaiser offers. Everyone's plan is different. But for me, this was cheaper than going through my own insurance by far. I do feel I should know. You got to take that I should know off your head. I mean, that's just such a stressor for health coaches. Okay, and I'm not done yet. We're getting there, you guys. We're getting there. Just give me a minute. And we are getting up on time, too. I knew this was going to go over. I'm so glad that I schedule a buffer at the end. Can a client use their ASA account to pay for your labs? That is in the webinar with Dr. Allen. I think we talked about that both times. And I think it's under fax as well, Kate. So go under fax over here and look that up on their site. I'm pretty sure he answers that. Do you get paid on PayPal? Yes, you get paid through PayPal. Fonda, what is the name of the 2 sleep scales Dr. Hopkins mentioned in his webinar? It's in the webinar. Sorry, I don't remember that. But it's in there. I promise. You can go back there and listen to what he said. I actually even typed it in on that one too. So Christy, we sign up for the affiliate program through their website, right? You sign in through the IFHC. Yes. The link that I put in the chat, that's where you go to sign up. So backtrack through the chat, find the labwork.com IFHC if you want the 20% payout. Otherwise, you're going to get the 15%. It doesn't tie into me. How do we get the doctor to talk to us? Does a client just sign a HIPAA form or some kind of form? No, your client just has to invite you to the appointment, and you just have to be their advocate. I've done that before. You can add that as an a la carte service on your fees and services page, that you are a client advocate. And what that would entail is them inviting you to the appointment. Charge accordingly. Okay, charge accordingly. Yes, the book Dirty Genes is really good. Is there a fee to sign out? No, it's free. Okay, Taryn, thank you for answering that. URL blank and registered pending approval. It should happen within a day. I think they do a 24-hour turnaround if it's empty. Thank you for sharing that link, Jane. But can anybody else see that? Can you put that in the chat box too, please? Natalie, what lab would you suggest to start off with an 18-year-old? So that's a great question. I would do it depends on it depends. I should just have a flashcard that says it depends, because I feel like I'm saying that on everything. So, so here's the thing. With 18-year-olds, it depends on how active they are. Are they symptomatic of anything? What's their genetic history? So let's just say I had an 18-year-old daughter. I have a son, he's 13, but let's just say that I have an 18-year-old daughter. My family has a history of Hashimoto's. Every woman in our family has it. Even if it showed up negative, I know that they have it because I have it. My mom has it. You know, we are prone and disposed. And when we pull the trigger on that gene, it expresses like that. So if I had a daughter, I would do a full thyroid panel. Absolutely. If I had that genetic disposition. So that's a dependent question. If my son is extremely active, the kid he never stops moving and he never stops eating. So if he were 18 years old right now, I would probably do a CBC, a CMP. I would do an iron test. I would do a vitamin D test. And then I would just say, you know, how you feeling? You know, I'd probably do a little bit of a androgen, inquiry. I would ask about how he's, you know, feeling with his hormones and so on. I actually had to do that with him when he turned 12 because boys are growing up a little bit faster these days. But anyway, you know, I would test hormones if he was tired or he wasn't building muscle properly. It all depends. So it depends on what's going on with the 18-year-old on what you're going to test. So you're going to have to dig on that, find out what's happening with that person. But never, ever hurts just to do a general testing, especially before a child goes off to college. Do I have an opinion on the microbiome test being promoted? Biome, etc. I posted an extensive response to the comparison between, I think it was Biome and another one in the mentorship group. You guys, if you're not in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery, we just dropped the monthly rate from $97 to $47. It is a no-brainer. We cover all this kind of stuff. We do live training on all of this. But that's where I posted that extensive explanation. I am a diagnostics, I'm a diagnostic solution GI map person, and I'm an oats person. I haven't spent a lot of time on Biome, and I don't remember what the test said. I wish I could remember what it said, but you can simply put in there, you can Google Biome or Biome, because I think that's what the name of, there's two different ones, versus Diagnostic Solutions. I think that's the name of the one. Anyway, it's a GI map. Get your comparisons out there, read the reviews, and see what other people are saying. But I stick with GI mapping through Diagnostic Solutions. If you do a consultation remotely, do I use Zoom? Yes, I do. There is a HIPAA-compliant form of Zoom. Are there tips of how to speak to doctors to assure they are bent to help you and not defensive? So that's really going to be all about how, you know, is the doctor 100% flat out conventional, like the endocrinologist that I went to with a client one time that wouldn't even look at me. The way that I spoke to her was basically, I'm just here to be a listener and to make sure that Amanda doesn't miss anything. I'm going to take some notes. And then at the end of her, how she explained things to the client, which was completely upside down and backwards. I asked for permission from the client. Is it okay if I ask a few questions here? And she was like, absolutely, please do. I don't even know what she just talked about. And I then said, okay, so I've done quite a bit of studying on this topic and would like to just ask your opinion and what you think about these things. And then I brought up the subject of molecular mimicry and, you know, asking about how gluten affects the thyroid and cross-reactive foods and how the liver needs glycogen to convert hormones. She blinked at me like 17 times and said, food has nothing to do with thyroid. And then I knew right then it didn't really matter. It didn't matter what I said to her. So there was no need for me to continue to the discussion because this girl was done anyway. She basically told me, she left there in tears. I calmed her down. We found her another doctor and she never went back. Now, when you are speaking to the doctors, it needs to be with the client in the room, never on the phone. You need to be present with them. Even if they said, oh, you can talk to him on the phone. No, I don't want to talk to your doctor. If you're not in the room with me, I'm not getting on the phone with your doctor. We're going to do it together. And so the way to do that is maybe to ask your client prior, Evelyn, is to say, please give your doctor a heads up that I'm going to be coming. Let them know that I'm going to be taking care of all of those little pieces that the doctor doesn't have time for, talking about sleep and food and all that. And I'm there to just support and be an advocate and for you. And so giving them that heads up, or even just saying that when you walk in the room is just basically saying, I do all of the easy stuff while you do the hard stuff. Something like that lets them know that you know that they're up here and you're a little bit down here, but you're there for the client. So being professional in your delivery, making sure that you don't present yourself as someone know-it-all or a threat, letting them know that you're there to support what they suggest on all of the lifestyle things and the things that they don't have time to do is the best way to do that. Where can you get the screenshots from the webinar? Well, it's not a slide deck, so you're just going to have to get the replay, and you're going to have to screenshot what you need and what you want to save as you get it. You're getting all these documents anyway, you guys, so you shouldn't need to do too much of that. Do you need something written in order to sit in on a doctor visit? No, but that's another a la carte version of an appointment. So you would have that, again, grocery store trip, a la carte. I think a la carte things are so amazing, you guys, to make money because they're not this big, long, extended 6-month plan, which I hope you guys aren't doing anyway because it's way too much. But it offers them, pantry clean out, grocery store trip, lab consultation, accompaniment to a doctor's appointment. I would charge, first of all, remember when you start getting ready to go somewhere is when you start thinking about what you would charge. You don't say, walking in the door of the doctor's appointment and walking out of the door is when you get charged. No, you have a fee for that. So something like this. So if we've got doctor's appointments all over this town. So the few that I had gone to took me about 15 minutes to get there. I had to get dressed, ready, do my makeup, all of that, drive there. So I counted 45 minutes on the front end of the appointment. The appointment waiting time was an hour. The appointment itself was only 30 minutes. And at the time, I was charging 50% on the front end, 50% on the back end. And I think it's a kind of a good idea for that because you don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Or you can say, it's $150 an hour. And that starts from the time that you leave for the appointment and the time that you leave. However you want to do it, be very clear about the time frame because you are going to an appointment. You are sitting in a waiting room. You are sitting in a doctor's office. Then you got to leave and go back. Then you got to write up recommendations. So a doctor's appointment visit should be just like any other appointment you leave your house for, charged accordingly. And I can't tell you because demographics, it's different for everyone. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I got one more thing I want to show you guys and then I'm going to pull something else over and actually 2 more things. So give me a second. So functional lab ranges, I knew was going to come up. So I pulled over some information. So you can simply type in functional lab ranges. Now, Kate has a good resource that, and Kate, if you want to plug it into the chat, go ahead, that she recommends. But you can just as easily, if you're not interested in getting deep with all of it, you can easily just come out here and you can pull up some ideas of what other people think. So here's one that would be, let me copy this for you guys. Hang on, and I'll plug it in. So here's one that might be a good marker. Now, I've not spent too much time on here. I just went in and took a look. And I thought it was pretty thorough. So if this resonates for you, by all means, go ahead and bookmark this and keep it for yourself or whatever, okay? But this is one place. It looks like he's done his homework. So you can use something like this for your functional lab values, okay? The other thing I want to show you, hold on a moment. I don't know how to minimize that, so I'm going to have to go over here. Let me see, Renew Health. Hold on a moment. This is, nope, that's not it. Just a minute, you guys. I'm looking for that. Someone had asked earlier about finding a doctor. So I'm going to show you a place where people can actually, if they change the name, so it's Refined Health. Hang on. And this is also something you guys probably don't know, that you can get yourself listed on this site. At least you could back when I signed up. I signed up to be a health coach on this page. So this right here, you can share with your clients on how to find a doctor. So find practitioners. All right. So if you've got a client, and this is for Tennessee because see, there I am. Huh, that's interesting. It shows up, and there's my nurse practitioner right here, and there I am. So if you sign up to do this, it's going to pull up, doctors and health coaches and things like that. But you can send this to your client, and they can find RNs, they can find doctors of chiropractic, they can find naturopathic physicians, they can find osteopaths. So in this little area that I live in, that's when a specific amount of location away, these are my options, okay? And I hate that Paige Adams actually passed away a couple of years ago from complications, and I hate they still have her listed because it's sad every time I pull it up. But all right, so this is what happens, and you pull it up and you can send them an email. I didn't fill out any other information. This is, oh my gosh, I think I filled this out 3 or 4 years ago. So that's how you can help them find another doctor. Another avenue, which, you know, this is one I used to recommend quite a bit, but have moved away from, is Wellness FX, because they do consultations as well. But I think it's not necessarily, you know, to have this as a resource if they have a doctor. If they don't have a doctor, then they can find a doctor that can consult with them and get the consultation based on their labs here. So that's one reason I like Wellness FX for that, okay? All right, so let me show you this one thing, and then I'm gonna go to the chat. If you have any other questions so far, you guys let me know. All right, so I've talked over and over again about having a process, okay? Having a step-by-step high mileage intake. We're gonna go over the doctor's appointment in a minute. Process, and I'm giving this to you guys for $97. It's $267, but if you want all the documents that I've talked about today, where I give it to you exactly step-by-step how to work with clients, it's not going to get any cheaper than that. I wanted to show it to you. The URL is going to be in your replay, and I'll pop it into the chat too. But I wanted to show that to you because I do get a lot of message asking me about the intake package. You can't beat it, okay? It comes with my students. It comes with my members and mentorship group. But you can buy it for $97 on your own too. All right, so let's go to, my goodness, let's see. Let me get a drink here. Everybody still hanging in there with this? This is a long training, right? I know we've lost some people. I know a lot of people had to go back to work, but we're almost done, I promise. Here is the folder that you guys are gonna get. It's gonna say training final folder. In this folder, you are going to get all of the documents that we just went over, including the Kickstart guide. If you guys don't have the Kickstart guide yet, I'm sending it to you directly. This is, how many, I don't even know how many pages this thing turned out to be. 17 pages, and it's got information about insurance, information about the state taxes and accounting, the documents I just talked to you about. Don't click on the documents link in here if you find one, because I'm giving you that discount. So don't use that one because it's full price. Talking about the niche, why you don't need it. Talking about procrastination, talking about certifications, all of that, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys the Kickstart guide too. And then this document has a link I just showed you if you wanna buy the package for the documents, for the coaching intake things. You're getting a copy of everything I went over. I'm giving you a copy of Dr. Allen's PowerPoints. I'm giving you both of the webinars that I did with Dr. Allen, okay? So even his, let me show you this real quick. This is gonna be, you're gonna love this. If you did not, oh no, I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna continue, hold on. If you did not attend the webinar, watch the webinar, and there's the wheel that everyone keeps asking me for that he created that's gonna be super cool for you guys to look at. Telling you what's going on, what, co-influencers, comorbidities. Hold on a minute. And then you're also getting doctor's forms. Okay. So again, if you're a student or a mentorship and mentorship and mastery member already, you already have the intake forms. You already have the doctor's templates in there. Okay. And you got, all of this training is going to be plugged in for you guys for free anyway. So this right here is the guide, the Successful Doctor's Appointment Guide that Dr. Allen said he wished everyone had. So when you get this, it's customizable. Take my logo off of there, put your logo on, and use this with your clients. You can use this again in a la carte appointments. So taking this Successful Doctor's Appointment and this doctor's template, someone had asked me earlier, I think it was Debbie maybe, someone had asked me about all that extensive testing I had recommended prior. This is probably it right here. This list right here that she was asking about. So what this is a form that you take all these pieces out, okay? You take this up with your logo on, and you give it to your client. And you say, this could be for the client who wants to do labs with you. This could be the client that wants you to go to the doctor with them. This could be the client that hires you for a 3-month consultation contract. But what it does is it helps them organize their life. All right. What they do with this is they fill it out and they keep it online. They keep their test results updated. It's a way for them to keep track of what's happening with their health, the changes that they're making. And it's something that they can fill out and take to their doctor. And so the doctor, all that time that we don't get, we get 15 minutes with them, right? So we need an hour to go over everything. This really cuts this down and gives them an idea of what the client's life looks like, what modalities, supplements, medications, things that they've done, what their goals are for the visit, and what their goals are for their future health. So teaching your clients how to have a successful doctor's appointment, giving them the tools to get organized for it, giving them a place that they can order labs from, you guys, it's going to blow up your practice. So thinking about whether or not you want to look like an expert, have all of this stuff for them and practice in a way that shows them that you know what you're doing and you're able to support and end the overwhelm for them. That's what's going to make you the expert. Okay. Okay. More questions. And we're going to try to wrap up here in the next 15 minutes. Okay. I think I already purchased this. I don't know what you're talking about. Purchased what? The doctor's package, Cindy? Possibly. Can you put in the links for finding doctors that you mentioned? That's actually in the student content, and it's also in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery content, and it's going to be in this webinar. So, I mean, I will try to remember. I've got a lot of stuff to put in there, but try to grab them from the chat if you can, and then you can find them in our content as well. Let's see here. Overgiver. Yeah, I know. I love to overgive. I don't like to leave anything uncrossed or not dotted. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that benefits you if I just hold back on content and information that can be beneficial for you guys. Oh, thanks, Cindy. I'm glad you think that. I'm trying to give you guys everything you need. Is a doctor's template in Practice Better? They have all of the intake form packages, Linda. I haven't asked them if they have the doctor's template. But if they don't, why don't you see if it's in there in your documents, and if it's not, then I will email Practice Better and I'll have them added for sure. Any tips for doctor's visits for chronic illness and more serious illness? That's the broadest question a person can ask. So the tips would be start with the 7 essentials, give them the doctor's successful outline and the template to get organized, and that's going to create it's almost going to put everything in one place so that everything can be seen more clearly. But you work on those 7 essentials that you're learning in the Institute, Evelyn. Whole food, safe movement, fun, sleep optimization, stress perception, spirituality, and addressing trauma. And chronic illness and serious illness is going to benefit from all of those 7 things, okay? So make sure as you work your way through the modules, you're learning all of those things. Yeah, check in with Kaylee, Cindy. I have no idea. I don't manage any of the money stuff or the orders. I just teach and get the information out to you guys. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Any questions over here? Yeah, definitely don't get stuck on ranges. You're going to learn this stuff as you go along for sure. Let's see, support, prevention, perspective. Again, you can sign up as an affiliate at any time. It just right now you're able to get that deal with the labs that he's offering on the IFHC offering. Okay. Very helpful. Excellent. The best way, we already covered the genetic mutations. So again, use that link, you guys, for IFHC if you want that 20% payout, and you get paid on your own labs. So, I typed out a list of the main labs that can be posted in your files. If you like, it names the text used. Okay, great. Price for the package. Joan, which package are you talking about? I'm not sure which one you're asking about. I get overwhelmed with my purchases, Sandra says. I know if I purchase for $97 already as an IFHC am I covered with the presently discussing to purchase? If you are a student and you are a member, you do not have to purchase anything. The training is free to you. If you wonder about what the documents and templates are involved, you've got to go log into your ClickFunnels platforms and see what I offer. I can't go over all the things. If you're a student and a member and you remember what there's hundreds and hundreds and almost thousands of resources. So log into your student platform, log into your Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery and see what's there. The doctor's package. No, you're getting the doctor's documents with this training. I'm giving that to you. So you are, like I said, I just pulled up that, you're getting all of that. Okay, so hold on. I'll show you one more time. And then we're going to go ahead, look one more time at questions, and then we're done. Final training folder. You get all of these webinars, doctor's forms, and all of the documents I went over. That's what you paid for today. Okay? Trust me when I tell you, when I put a price on this training, I was, I get the hand slap a lot from my team. And if Dawn's still on, she can probably tell you that I am an overgiver. I don't price things as high as they're worth. The value of this training is beyond what you paid. I would probably put a 5 or 6 times amount on it for the time I put into it, what you're getting, everything I'm offering. It's beyond. But this is important enough to me that you guys get what you need to do this the right way, okay? So it will never be offered at this price again. So I'm really glad for those of you who took advantage of it, that you took advantage of it, because the price goes up on automatic purchase, okay? All right, great teaching. Have to get to work. Have a great day. You too, Deborah. Have a great day. And let me go one more time to questions, and then we're going to wrap up. So for finding a new doctor, Wellness FX. Dawn, can you type that in? wellnessfx.com. And then also the one I just showed you for, what's his name? The Refined Health. Is it Refined? Gosh, primaldocs.com is renamed Renew Health. I think it's Refined Health. I hate that they changed that. It is such a crappy name with that dash in it. Just not super friendly. Hang on. No, it's not Effects. It's FX. Wellness FX. I'll just copy and paste it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Let me grab it. Copy. Sounds like Effects. There we go. There's your links, okay? So Linda, grab those. That'll help save me a step, honestly. So those are in there. Doctor's forms are not on Practice Better. Okay, great. We will have them added. Let me write a note. Practice Better, if you guys aren't signed up with them, awesome platform, HIPAA compliant. I do have a link for that will also go out to you guys if you want to sign up through me. Jackie, I don't know that you can switch it, but you can send Dr. Allen and his team a message and tell him that you meant to sign up through me and see what he says. Christine, if we buy all the labs at $12.50, do we get 20% off the price? You don't get 20% off the price. You get a 20% commission payback, as far as I understand. Ask your questions about your lab work directly to your lab work, okay? Please do, please do, please do. Will you personally be signed up for Dr. Allen's webinars? No, I will not. I don't have time for that. I don't need to be familiar with his strategies. That's for you guys to decide what you want to use and what he offers. I have my own strategies that I'm comfortable with when I work with my clients. If we are a member of the Mastery Group, do we go to the course or the Mastery Facebook? You go to the ClickFunnels platform. So ClickFunnels, where all of the information lives, is where all of that stuff is. Bye. Appreciate you. Bye, Cindy. Have a great day. Yes, we had a great ladies' night last week. It was fun. Okay. You're welcome, Christine. You're welcome. You're welcome. Deborah, you do not need a website to be an affiliate with yourlabwork.com. But if you need a website to get started, don't go crazy worrying about doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. Just get 1 page done, and that's going to be plenty. Have an opt-in, have your contact, and a way to get in touch with you. Okay. How can you contact your lab work? Do I have an email? They have information on their website. They should say, contact me. This is awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Gosh, was that the fastest training on the planet or what? See, okay. This is great, Christy. Thank you for saying this. I ordered the Have It All panel from Dr. Allen, and I've already gotten my $250 affiliate feedback through PayPal. That's awesome. See, she paid for the I Have It All, and she got a $250 affiliate payout back. That's awesome. I'm getting labs done tomorrow. Purchase and scheduled a few minutes ago. Have been sharing with clients. Excited to share. Okay, so I think that's it. I think we did it all. Oh my gosh, unless we didn't. Okay, oh good. ClickFunnels. Christine, are you a Mentorship and Mastery Group member, or are you a student? If you're a student, go to your student platform in Thinkific, okay? If you are not a student, then it's in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery. You are a student. Okay, then just go to the IFHC Thinkific. platform. And everything that, if you're a student, you get everything. You don't ever have to pay for anything ever. It's all included. So go to your platform on your student thing. All right. Okay. Yeah. You don't have to know where ClickFunnels is for that reason, because you're in Thinkific, which is the platform that hosts your student platform. Okay. And those of you who are interested, if you are not a student of mine and you're not a Mentorship and Mastery member, we are getting it done. This is the stuff that we do. We do the real life health coaching, real solutions where you're not wasting your time. And you're not, you don't feel pressured to be all of these different pieces. Stay in your lane, be a health coach, do this in a way that feels good and keeps you safe in your business so that you can have a referral-based practice and be successful. So we will include links to the Mentorship and Mastery group. Unless Dawn wants to plug them in, we will include links to the IFHC to schedule a call if you want to learn what we're doing. But most of all, thanks for taking all of this time. And thank you, Christy. She's saying IFHC was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I love that. I love it. We are definitely disrupting the coaching profession. We're doing things differently than anyone else. And we're doing them based on my experience as a health coach for almost 8 years. You guys, I know what works. I've done it. I've helped hundreds of people with their problems. So just know that when you are learning from people in the health coaching business, you need to learn from health coaches who have walked in these shoes with clients. Otherwise, you don't know what you're getting. Half of the time when my students come to me, they've never even heard of knowing what their state color is, or knowing that there's language they should and should not use. That scares me. That worries me considerably, because it puts a mark on the rest of us health coaches if health coaches are out there and they're not doing this in a safe way. If you are a health coach and you don't have a business built yet and you have a certification, you need to go back to that school and find out how they're going to help you and support you without charging you extra money to give you what you need to do what you need to do. For me, it's, do not leave a school without a business being built. If you are in that school right now, you better ask for what you need, or you're going to have to sign up somewhere else and to get what you need. We offer it all at the Institute. We do not let any need go unmet. If you've got a question, we're gonna answer it. We're gonna give you what you need. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. This has been it's been fun. I love teaching about this stuff. And I really appreciate all your input and your questions. You guys are incredibly smart people. So keep it up. Oh, Michael. Hi, Michael. Oh, I didn't know you were on. I don't get a chance to see the names unless you guys type. So thinking of you always. And thanks to everybody. Appreciate it. And Dawn, thank you so much for hanging in there and helping out today. See you guys later. Watch for your replay within the next 24 hours. I have a lot of work to do to get some things to my team so we can get that out for you guys. All right.